And welcome to Death Before Dishonour Season 6, which is pretty crazy. Qualifier number 2. Should be some massive good fun. Hopefully you guys can all see me well and the curse stream is working. Fingers crossed. We've got a pretty good couple of games in store for you today. Up first in the first semi-finals, we have Mr. Worldwide himself up against Valkanos. I believe both of these guys are from RTK, so a bit of an inner clan war. And in the second semi-final, we have the Prussian Prince up against Leopard. And I think Leopard will be making his debut on the channel here. So should be some good stuff all round. Let's pop in and have a quick look at the players. Looks like they are going for greenskins for Mr. Worldwide and Tomb Kings for Valkanos. We are here on Troll Country as well, which is a little bit of tradition coming in as the first map here. Now guys, hope you are all good today. Looks like we've got quite a few people tuning in. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I saw someone mention about internet connection. Hopefully we're all good today. For some reason, the Death Before Dishonour tournaments, which are normally my biggest streams, they attract the most people, always be the ones, end up the ones with the internet problems or the game crashes or, you know, one or something. Something always seems to happen. But fingers crossed this time it will go all good. And yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to some pretty awesome games. Let me quickly double check Discord, make sure we have no questions. I did just let the other two guys know they're going to be in round 2. But looks like we are all good. Now, while we are waiting for them to pick their armies and builds, I'm just going to drop a little link here in chat for you guys. And that is a link to Mr. Valkanos' YouTube channel. So if you do want to click on that, go over there and support him as well. Maybe leave a little tab open, then check his stuff out after the stream. Feel free, really cool dude. And yeah, always good to see more content creators. So let's pop in here and wait for these guys to check in. Ooh, hopefully that link has appeared for you all. And should be some good stuff. So we are, of course, doing 2 best-of-3 semi-finals and a best-of-5 final, as is tradition. And the winner of this will be picking their slot in the season's grand finals, which there's already been 1 slot taken already. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the last Death Before Dishonour qualifier, cover your ears for the next, like, 10 seconds or so. But the winner of this will be joining the mighty and legendary Dacta in the finals. And there's still 2 spots up for grabs as well. Of course, they will be announced through my Discord as well if you do want to take part. But looks like we've got certainly a good batch of players coming in. Very excited stuff. Each season we get more and more players. I think we had 39 compete today, which is pretty wild, and I think the biggest amount we've ever had as well. I'm certainly going to try and time one, hopefully with the Wood Elf DLC, so we'll be able to attract even more people and, you know, slowly convert them to the Total War Warhammer ways of the Dark Gods. What's up, Aldelmo? How's it going, man? Woot, good luck, RTK, man. RTK are representing 3 out of the 4 finalists are RTK, and perhaps Leopard is as well. I've not met Leopard before. But I don't think he is. I think he actually has a different clan tag in front of his name. But RTK are out in force. A really cool clan. We've actually had a clan war against them, I believe, up on the channel before, I seem to remember. So yeah, we are going to be doing more clan wars in the future as well, up against different people. I think DBD may have one with Extreme Meme Team coming up relatively soon. I think we still need to organise one versus ODM maybe as well. Lots of cool guys rocking the clan tags these days, which is always good to see. And if you do want to join clans and just get a better understanding of them, I believe Samurai Warrior of Clan XMT has put up a little notice of all of the clans and kind of, you know, their views on the game and how to join them and the like up on Turin's Discord, which I'm sure a lot of you are on. Looks like Mr. Worldwide is ready indeed. He's coming in confident with the old Pitbull symbol, which I absolutely love. I was speaking to my housemates about Pitbull recently, and he's quite a Marmite character, it would seem. Ready as well. Good luck, have fun, lads. Let's get this first battle underway. No, Leopard is not RTK. No, Leopard, I think, is a different clan. But we'll obviously get him in here for that second semi-final. So he's representing the rest of the world here as they do try to take down the RTK clan members. Troll Country. Bit of an old classic for the stream. It is normally our first map, and that's because it is a close quarters blood and thunder affair. You just jump into it and it gets real bloody real quick, which is the way we like to start our streams here. As for Troll Country itself, as I said, pretty damn small map. There is also hills dotted around on each corner, so you can take a defensive approach, but there isn't too much time to allow you to kind of pull back and kite. You still can do defensive builds, no matter what people tell you, because a lot of the kind of max range weapons won't even be in play straight away. There's also some trees dotted around as well for some sneaky stabbings, which is what I'm all about. Hopefully we should see some of that today. And yes, Tomb Kings against Greenskins, I think was Tomb King favoured before. I seem to remember the Casket of Souls doing horrific damage to it, but ever since the Greenskins have had their new tools, they've certainly been top tier and pretty hard to take down. What's up, Viking? How's it going, man? What does one get for being in a clan those days with all that social media? What does one get for being in a clan? I mean, I suppose you get to cool group of teammates, get to involve yourselves in the community a little bit more, take part in clan events and all that good stuff, and you get to rock a good looking clan tag. Looks like we are just about loaded in here, and there we go. Don't worry about the loading in times. They don't actually reflect connection, I think. That's just about people's computers in general. So, for the forces of Valkanos here, coming in with the Tomb Kings, let's go for his lord first. We have the mighty Cetra the Imperishable on top of his mighty Kitty Cat. Going to be coming in with some pretty decent stuff. The Blessed Blade of Petra, Wrath of Petra, Incantation of Desiccation, Incantation of Protection, a ton of stuff into the sunset, rocking alongside a Necrotech. Now, in the main battle line, we do have cheap and cheerful skeleton warriors and skeleton spearmen dotted all the way along. It looks like we actually have some bad to the bones Tomb Guard as well, including the Kepper Guard. I'm a big fan of mixing in the heavy infantry with the light infantry as well. Can certainly catch your opponent off guard if they don't really kind of look in and see what's what. We do have one Screaming Meme Catapult chevroned up, as well as a unit of the Chosen of the Gods, Regiment of Renowned Ushopti, fantastic at clearing through units rather than single entities, but still can do pretty decent damage. We have some basic Ushopti as well, the close combat variety, and we have a nice little formation to boot as well. Now, for the forces of the Greenskins here, we do have the mightiest of all units in the front line here, the Glorious Goblins, who are jumping up and down and cheering for joy. And in the centre pocket, we have Savage Orc Biggins, mixing with Orc Boys, as well as Night Goblins as well. Looks like 8-peak Loons, of course, in a nice mixed front line. So pretty similar to the opponent in that front. We do have Stone Trolls in the secondary battle line as well. Looks like maybe just the two. Considered very powerful by most, still have that huge weakness of a low leadership. I actually had Crockguard defeat 3 units of Stone Trolls the other day. So, they're good, but certainly are possible to take down. We have a giant River Troll Hag coming in with Spirit Leech. And it looks like we have Grom the Paunch as well, coming with his buffs on his mighty chariot. And don't forget his little goblin friend as well, rocking on top of that banner. He's so pumped up to go into to death and into battle. I absolutely love it. Looks like we did actually have some little, Assault Stones as well coming in by the Death Hag, which is a pretty cool ability I don't think everyone knows about. We have a Goblin Big Boss as well on his Wolf, making him deadly fast, and I'm a big fan of Wolves in general, so they need stabbing is going to be popped on him, helps him take down characters quite nicely. We have Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers on the left-hand flank, with some basic ones to protect them, and it looks like the same on the other side as well, although we actually have 4 units there. So it should be some good stuff. Balanced Power is already heavily in favour, well not heavily, but a little favour in the Greenskins. So it looks like they certainly do have the number advantage for now. Good luck, have fun, has been said. Always good to see good sportsmanship. And we'll get underway. I don't think any clan forces its members to play meta. Oh no, certainly not. You can help to learn the meta through clans, but yeah, you're not forced to play meta by any means at all. Or at least not any clans that I know about. Anyway, Screaming Skull Catapult there does fling its first few shots in, hitting some of the Orc Boys and nothing too valuable yet, but I'm sure it will be switching targets. You can see the Skirmish Corps are starting to whip round the flanks here, going to be putting massive pressure on the back line, but at the same time, Falconos not gone too heavily here. Just one Catapult and one Ushopti to protect should make it a feasible effort here. You see a lot of people kind of not overcompensate, but go way too many ranged troops and they simply can't protect them. Certainly on a small map like this, I think it's very wise just to go for the 2 troops. Orc Boys is still the focus of attention for now, perhaps looking to break them down as quickly as possible and force them off the field. Looks like Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers have managed to sneak up here and we're doing some damage onto the Screaming Skull Catapult, and it will eventually be able to tear down the crew of that machine and finish it off. And the back lines, Forest Goblin Spider Riders being a pain, forcing the Ushopti to bounce over and deal with them, which is going to allow the front line of the Greenskins to hammer home quite quickly. Here's the Savage Orc Biggins do come crashing in, trying to destroy the Tomb Guard here. Looks like a tiny bit of lag, but hopefully it will subside here, as the guys do go into battle in slight slow motion. Looks like the Cetra Imperishable is going to be darting towards the front line. We're going to see that big old rock drop coming in here by the Death Hag herself, raining in from the skies, and boom, down it comes in glorious fashion. Should be chewing through a lot of the troops, although friend and foe alike being caught up there quite badly. Over on this side, Forest Goblin Spider Riders still doing consistent damage to the Screaming Skull Catapult. Spearmen have forced away some of those little spiderlings, however, and Skeleton Warriors are pushing back here as well. In the front line, Tomb Guard are holding desperately up against Orc Boys and Savage Orc Biggins, but they're certainly going to be able to chew their way through. It looks like the Catapult up to 9 kills only, despite the fact it's been firing into relatively low tier troops, but at the same time it's probably been getting more HP damage than anything else. From the Paunch has charged in here, trying to deal with Cetra, but Cetra is a mighty foe indeed, especially with the Blessed Blade of Petra, given that fire damage. Grom does not want to be here, but Lucky Banner plus 40% damage resistance should keep him going for now, but that has now disappeared. So he needs to be careful and pull out of there, because apart from that, Greenskins are in a pretty solid position. Screaming Skull Catapult is continuing to fight into the Savage Orc Biggins, but it looks like they have broken through the line here, and the Shopti, the Chosen by the Gods in fact, getting pushed back by the Goblins, as Skeleton Warriors do slam in to try and protect. Over in the back, Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers are firing quite happily, and shooting in, once again focusing down at the Screaming Skull Catapult, which is getting relatively low now and is starting to crumble. And it looks like these little spiders, especially if the War popped, are going to get quite eager and hop onto the Chosen of the Gods. Should be able to chew through them relatively quickly as well with the War popped. Cetra is a one-man army at the moment in the front line, however, holding it down, pushing back Stone Trolls as well as Spider Riders. And now the more elite troops, such as the Kepler Guard, are slowly being filtered in with the Ushopti. The Greenskins are taking massive damage on that front line. However, they have got into all of the squishy stuff in the back lines, with the Screaming Skull Catapult finally going down here, and the Chosen of the Gods as well being completely surrounded by those pesky Spider Rider Archers. Looks like we do have a little bit of lag, but it's not too bad. It's kind of just slowing down the game a little bit, so unfortunately not sure who's struggling to connect to the UK, but it does happen quite a bit, unfortunately. Spirit Leech popping down on Cetra here as he is forced off. Goblin Big Boss coming to say hello as well, trying to do some damage. Needs to be a bit careful. Cetra can simply turn around and destroy him if needs be. Looks like Stone Trolls have been forced off, but there's nothing really on this Tomb King build to chase off units, and that could be a bit of a problem. Stone Trolls still have 9 models. They're going to regenerate some of their health and come back to the fray. Down here, Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers consistently shooting in, now only onto Skeleton Warriors, who are shielded as well, but they've done their job. They've gotten rid of that Catapult. But Cetra is the beast here. It's going to be really tough to bring him down all round. He's terrifying off Orc units wherever he sees them. Balance power is dead even. Looks like the lads were just saying good luck, have fun, but you can see Stone Trolls are starting to rally in the distance here, and not being able to chase them off is going to cause big problems. You can see their health is constantly ticking up. The second war has gone active as well there, pretty quickly after the first one, as Savage Orc Biggins do slowly kind of get dragged down actually by a mixture of Ushopti as well as Skeleton Spearmen, and the Savage Orc Biggins are going to be needed in the late game to help finish off Cetra if these trolls do indeed get dealt with, and he can certainly do that to them if he does have his flaming buffs active and on point, as he breathes one of the trolls to death there. And the Stone Trolls maybe regretting their decision to come back into the fray. Grom is looking relatively healthy at this moment, however. Was there a Greenskin Castle there? Of course there was. The Giant Road Troll Hag up to 17 kills in the thick of the fighting, surrounded by Savage Orc Biggins, is going to make her quite tough. Lovely play by Valkanos here though. He's managed to keep his Chosen of the Gods active despite the fact the backline has been under so much pressure, and they've been consistently shooting up to 60 kills, now focusing down at those Stone Trolls, doing massive damage to them. Cetra is having to flee here. Looks like he is popping Incantation of Protection as well. And once again, the Trolls have been forced off. Only lost 1 model so far though, so these guys simply could regen and come back into the fray. And Grom is driving up that kiddie's bum as much as possible, waving that glorious axe around in the sky, though not actually getting too many attacks in. Tomb King's looking very dominant in this centre pocket. One of the units of the Ushopti are about to disappear, however, though it looks like the Goblin Big Boss may just about break as well. So it's going to come down to, can the Greenskins rally their forces to get back in this game and snipe out Cetra, which is going to be pretty key. Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, after some really initially good play of them, have now pretty much run out of ammunition, unless they are going to be poisoning troops as they shoot in and doing some damage, but that ammunition would have been really lovely to pop on Cetra here into the late game. It looks like balance power is back in favour of the Greenskins, however, mainly due to how low Cetra is. And he's got that fire damage popped, but he really needs to use that when he is dueling Grom, otherwise Grom could give him some big problems. Some of the Stone Trolls have now been shattered. Goblin Big Boss should be able to escape here on his mighty warfare that was bound across the snow, and should be able to escape, come back, and maybe drop another sneaky stab in on Settra would be quite nice. A glorious Spirit Leech does come in, and that could be Settra doomed for here. Grom is coming in for the kill. He smells that bony blood seeping out of Settra, and he's once again just cheering to the lads as he goes about his dirty work. The core of the Tomb Kings is trying to save Settra where possible and pin in Grom. And it looks like the giant River Troll Hag is taking a bit of a nap as well. Settra doing the dirty work. The Chosen of the Gods here, firing in pretty consistently still, but are finally getting forced back by Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion are here to support though. They should be able to fend off those pesky spiders, but more do flock by the minute. Looks like Settra pretty much done for at this point, down to just 400 health. Savage Orcs do dart in to try and deal with him, as a Mither is popped on him as well. It's going to be slowing him down, but in come those pesky Spider Rider Archers, and they could be the death of Settra here. So it looks like another Spirit Leech coming in. Spirit Leech spam is still very potent and deadly, and it looks like with Settra going down here, the Tomb Kings will suffer a similar fate. Very close battle though to start off the series. Giant River Troll Hag has been forced off again, but will be returning no doubt. I don't think the Kepper Guard, with their kind of beat up allies here, are going to be enough to deal with the sheer amount of greenskins on display. Although a lot of them are still running for the hills, but this is the problem that's been going on all game. They're simply coming back, regenerating up, and doing more damage and work. So Grom is going to pull off here, going to be doing some cycle charging no doubt. Kepper Guard being a nice pick so far, up to 86 kills. The Shopsy are tearing apart some of the Orc Boys and Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. But the second unit charging into combat as well, but can simply sit back and shoot. And you can see all of the Tomb King's forces are starting to crumble here and disappear into dust, as Goblins pushing in on King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. Shopsy holding the line, trying their best, although it looks like they are getting a little bit exhausted here and crumpling to the ground as that sneaky Goblin Big Boss came in for some sneaky stabbings. And yeah, unfortunately, Army Losses is kind of, well, maybe not quite setting in here, as the Kepper Guard continue to fight strong, but I don't think it's far away, as another Spirit Leech pops on the Necrotect. They need stabbing as well. Such a useful ability, which is make the Goblin Big Boss way more of a common pick than he ever was before. It's pretty awesome stuff. Giant River Troll Hag has been forced off here, but Grom is just so healthy and happy, and at this point he could solo the rest of the Tomb King's build if he really felt like it with some decent cycle charging. Somehow the Goblins do survive to the end of the battle, which is the Goblin way. You get in there, you do some damage, you run away, and you come back to celebrate victory. So very well played, a hotly contested first game, and some great stuff indeed. Use your ammo, my little green friends, oh yes. Yes, hope you guys did enjoy indeed. Sorry, just looking through chat there quickly, but we'll go back into the lobby and make sure the guys are all good. GG, well played. Yeah, so someone in this lobby does not agree with my internet, I'm afraid. We're all good on my end, because I just double checked. But it's not too bad, luckily. So, we are on to Altdorf Outskirts next. There we go. Skirts up next. Which is all good. Let's change the scoreboard while I remember. So Mr. Worldwide himself, the man, the myth, the legend, is going to be going up there. 1-0. Of course, this is a best of 3, and we have another best of 3 semi-finals to follow this as well. Just going to quickly check my Discord to make sure we have no questions from Prussian Prince or his enemy, his adversary to face off, Leopard. But looks like they're all good, and we'll be betting those guys into the next round. So let's pop back in, and there we go. So, Valve Konos to pick and ban. And then I can come and chill out with you guys. Arstark, he will probably take you on. Oh no, what's happened? What's happened? Quack Quack, what's up, Packrilla? Love the name. Quackrilla would be a better name, but still pretty decent. I usually play late at night after I've had a few beers, so I play worse and get frustrated easier. Well, you know, playing drunk, maybe if you play sober, you'll all of a sudden realise your micro is amazing because you've been practiced to those conditions. But are clans usually happy to take new people? Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, Black Fawn, send me a message. If you wanted to get involved with DBD, drop me a message, man. We can sort something out. This is this RTK Civil War. Not quite Malverde, so it is Death Before Dishonour. But 3 of the 4 semi-finalists are representing RTK today, which is some pretty crazy stuff. Which should be some good stuff. I think we already had some RTK members actually fight each other in the build-up as well, so I guess a lot of them just tuned in today. Yes, yes. Is Vagnus Orcs or fake undead? He was fake undead. We do need a DLC Stormrunner, we do, and it shall be coming next month, which I'm very excited for. Obviously, when I know information and stuff, I'm sure I'll do like a reaction to the trailer and all that kind of stuff. But yes, cool. I've caught up with chat now, which is all good. The Orc Arab Boys, Rex, etc. Orc Arab Boys are highly underrated, I think. I think the Orc Daka in general might be. Yeah, the kitty cat can be hard to hit. There's something else, which is hard to... Yeah, Mr. Worldwide is Pitbull, so perhaps it is the real Pitbull. We will never know. We know there are some celebrities who play this game in the form of Witcher's very own... Henry Cavill, there you go. His name slipped my mind. Looks like Valkanos is going Norska, banning Vampires and Empire, and Mr. Worldwide going Avalon here. Pretty interesting pick. Norska, I think, are considered mostly to be slightly favoured up against High Elves, but maybe the Avalon trickery will come into play. I would love to see some Treekin right here. I think that'd be really quite funny indeed. But who knows? Mass Effect Remastered has been confirmed, boys. Well, I did play Mass Effect 4, I think, maybe. Maybe. No, I don't think I did. If that's the latest one, I played Mass Effect 3. Those, like, warlike creatures were really awesome, but I haven't played that game since I was a kid, so I really can't remember. But yeah, that was a good first game. Who's your money on, lads? Do you think Mr. Worldwide is going to take this first semi-final in a 2-0? Is, of course, best of 3, or do you think Valkanos can indeed fight back, representing his clan against his clan? He's actually RTKS versus RTK, so perhaps there is a bit of divide there. And hopefully we'll get some good games. I mean, Norska versus High Elves, always good fun. It's always just crazy mass slaughter, with the Norskins normally trying to push through to a High Elf back line. I think Fireborn here are amazing, because their fire shock damage can really kind of put the nail in the coffin of Skinwolves very early on, and you'll see Skinwolves with most Norskin builds more often than not. But again, you know, High Elves can bring a lot of fire damage, so perhaps not here. Valkanos shall channel ITO indeed. I only found out about ITO today. They are his secret clan, I'm sure. But hey, Legion, good to have you here, dude. Hope you're all good and chilling today. Yes, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, feel free to give it a big old thumbs up. And tell your mum about it, tell your grandma, get them online. Get them involved in the tug war scene, tell everyone you know. Start quacking at people in the streets, is what I've started to do. And it seems to work. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe as well, of course, for Total War Warhammer content and all that standard good YouTuber stuff that I have to say every now and again. Hey, I agree, Malverde. Malverde, a man of the people. A true man of the people here. Skinwolves are overrated. It's all about ice trolls. It's actually all about ice builds, in my opinion. Good luck, have fun. Let's get this battle started. So hopefully, if the lag stays at that same level, it's a little bit like, not choppy, just like slow, then it's not too bad, luckily. But yes, the curse of the Death Before Dishonour streams. All my other streams run perfectly for some reason, and then we get to Death Before Dishonour, and something will happen. A giant crab will fall on my internet, or someone's game will crash, or see, you know, just rivers of tears and stuff. But it's been good so far, luckily. Falcon Pure Chill build that never loses. That is inspired by a Raptor build, I think, which I think I've got featured on the channel, actually. The double Frostworm, loads of Ice Wolves, and Ice Trolls, and Frog, of course. It is some glorious stuff, indeed. So now a little sip of my drink to make sure I survive. And here we are. Altdorf outskirts, where the Empire never seem to actually fight. They always seem to cower behind their fortress walls here. It looks like a pretty horrible causeway to get through. There's just like buildings right there as you do enter, but they're going to be cowering behind their walls and watching these two forces fight. I'm sure the Elves have come to the aid of the Empire rather than the Norskans, who've probably been raiding and looting these lands. And I always point this out whenever I see a map with some houses in the middle of it. Who lives here? What are you doing with your life in the Warhammer realm where cities get besieged all the time? What are you doing just out here? I would hate to live there for sure. It seems like a terrible idea to me, but who knows? Maybe they know something I don't know. There's some statues watching over them and protecting them, perhaps. Looking incredibly badass. Nice swords as well. Surprised they haven't been looted yet. As these boys do load in. Last game was pretty close. I'm expecting some similar stuff here as well, and it to be a tightly contested affair. So it looks like they have just about popped in. And for the forces of Valkonos and the Norskans here, for his leader, of course, he has the mighty Wulfric the Wanderer. In my opinion, the far and away better Lord of Norsca. I know some people like Frog, but I just think Wulfric brings a lot more to the table and is a bit harder to kill for the most part. Depends on the matchup. But he is kind of Hunter Champions, Fight or Die, and of course Seafang. He does have a Fimir Belfian of Shadows, kind of Enfeebling Foe Pendulum, as well as that Scroll of Shielding, which is so good. It lasts for such a long time, given that damage resistance to Wulfric is just really lovely. We have Marauders dotted along the front line, cheap and cheerful, and then also chew your limbs off, so they're pretty good troops all round, as well as some Marauder Berserkers in the mix, and this is quite a common pick overall, is that combination. Marauder Berserkers are the real lawnmowers here, but Marauders at the same time can do a decent job. Very lovely skirmish corps as well. Double Marauder Horse Masters going to be thrown in some javelins and being a general pain. We have Fimir Warriors as well with great weapons. It looks like maybe just the one unit to add a bit more punch to this build. And in the far vanguard we do have double Norscan Warhounds as well, trying to be sneaky and break into the back there. But for the forces of Avalon, what is this madness? I love this build straight away. For Mr. Worldwide, we have triple Illyrian Reaver Archers, a lovely counter. These guys heavily underrated. Take them up against Horse Masters and the like, and they'll be able to out-skirmish them all day. You have Silver Guard box here, so 3 units of Silver Guard, and just 2. So the one in the back is in fact the Regiment of Renowned Spearmen, who have a really awesome colour scheme. I never get to see these guys in action, and they do come in with the Aura of Protection, giving that 12% damage resistance, but is disabled if their mana is less than 50%. Okay, so if the magic mana is left. We have double tree men in the centre pocket, which is something you never see. Tree men are considered pretty poor normally. They are protected by the Pure Main Company, who of course are going to be given that Guardian buff, which stacked with the Regiment of Renowned Spearmen will be deadly. We have double noble on foot as well. Oh no, single noble and 1 Lawmaster coming in with no spells, it seems. Although he is protecting, giving the Lawmaster cloak for that magic resistance to everyone. And then Alariel with Earthblood. Is that Shield of Thorns? It is Shield of Thorns and Star of Avalon. So going for a bit of a death blob here. Hoping that the Norskans can't really outshoot them. So you use the Illyrian Reaver Archers to focus down any Horse Masters and skirmish troops. And then you simply outblob their enemy. I feel like boats could be pretty deadly here if they can take away the Spearmen. And that's what you want to do. You want to start picking away at all the units which are applying these buffs, I suppose. So pretty disgusting build, but I love it at the same time. It's always good to see double tree men in action. Marauders will go toe-to-toe with Silver Guard, but Silver Guard will hold for an absolute lifetime in that matchup. And Alariel on foot can be relatively squishy. Only 3,000 health. Looks like the Hounds are pushing forward now as well. Illyrian Reaver Archers are quite happily shooting into Berserkers now that the Horse Masters have fled, and these guys are going to be a big problem, I feel, all round. A lovely boat does come down the front line, doing some pretty massive damage to those Silver Guard. If it could catch both units, that'd be worse, but oh my god! These Silver Guard are getting decimated in the front line. One unit is practically broken already. Looks like we may see a hill come down, but they are terrified. I know it is in fact a Shield of Thorns. Coming down and doing some pretty decent work. These Hounds need to try and pressure their Reaver Archers, even if they can't catch them, force them away from this main engagement, while the rest of your troops do the dirty work. Good play by Valkonos here as well, whipping up and around the flanks with his foot troops, and charging into the rear of these Silver Guard. Should be able to plug away at them, cut limbs and all that stuff away. Berserkers as well are starting to wrap around. However, Wulfric has taken some massive damage here and is going to need to fall back. Pure Main Company have been absolutely hammered. It looks like one of the Warhounds, actually probably a better use of their time, is being used to chase down routing troops to ensure they can't come back to the fray, which is some really nice play that I like quite a lot. And it looks like the box has completely crumbled. Sylvan Guard have been dealt with. It looks like on either flank we still have the Spearmen, however, which are the key units to help give the buffs here. The Leon Reavers are being forced away by some Marauders, and this is lovely play once again by Valkanos, because all these shots are simply being wasted on shielded Marauders when they need to be going down on the Horse Masters or Wulfric and other key targets. Lawmaster has been hit by a Hunter of Champions, and Wulfric does indeed turn to engage, rearing up on his hind feet there. Needs to get in there and do the damage while he can. Looks like the first unit of Sylvan Guard has been completely shattered, and the Warhounds are now on the prowl for the second unit. And yeah, that Lawmaster is just going down quick here, being pretty badly hurt. Horse Masters are now once again the focus of attention for the Illyrian Reavers. Need to keep pulling around where possible. It looks like they're trying to get some damage done on the Treemen and other units. Warhounds simply waiting patiently here in the trees, awaiting something to break, and it looks like the Pure Main Company have indeed done that, as well as the Spearmen. So the Shield of Thorns only really going to be capturing these big units here. The Feeble Foe has been popped on them as well. There's not too much anti-large for the Norscans though, but if they can pick apart most of the build simply surrounding large entities, you can eventually drag them down. Lawmaster is absolutely done for here, and in fact is completely shattered at this point. Nice play with the Warhounds so far. Leon Reavers getting some pretty decent kills across the board, and now focus firing in once again on top of those Horse Masters. The two Treemen do stand strong, but they stand pretty much alone. Looks like the Noble and Alariel are the other only Elf units fighting. Balance of power pretty heavily in favour of Norsgear here. As a Wulfric still taking a decent amount of shots. Looks like he's going to be coming in after that Alariel booty. Looks like the Treemen are going to be trying to push through where possible to deal damage to him, but at this point Wulfric certainly has the mobility advantage over the troops in the centre. The Star of Avalon does go down, going to be healing up Alariel. If I was Wulfric, I'd probably dart out of there at the moment. Don't think it's worth the fight. Looks like Berserkers and Warhounds have cleared up the rest of those troops. Going to be floating back to the main engagement now as well. And some Warhounds did get involved with the Illyrian Reavers. These bad boys don't have terrible stats though, but I suppose every kill does help out a little bit. But yeah, Illyrian Reavers can dart down and pressure Warhounds, especially on the charge. Wulfric has managed to pull back here. We are going to be seeing Star of Avalon and Earthblood as the healing blob tries its best here. Treemen is completely surrounded now by champions, and having more of the champions in the mix is a real nice kind of inclusion here, adding a bit more of those stocky troops in the centre. They won't buckle quite so easily, and the longer the Norscan forces fight, the more powerful they become as well, so they don't really mind the grind game too much. And it looks like one Treeman has been slightly isolated here, focused down by the javelins, and Wulfric is coming in for the finisher. Looks like he may just about be able to rally though, as his Treeman brother does come to assist. Yeah, Wulfric simply wants to dart out of here. He's actually kind of messing up the throwing arc of these Horse Masters. Leon Reavers have darted around the flank, although some of them have been caught by Marauders, which isn't the best situation for them. Looks like they are going to be able to win the engagement, but not before some more precious Elven lives are indeed lost. In the distance, Leon Reaver archers have managed to finish off one of the units, but once again, Fire at Will has not been taken off, so they're kind of shooting into kind of no man's land there. In the centre pocket, familiar warriors with great weapons have surrounded Alariel, but the Noble is here in support, and the double Treemen going strong. Who would have thought it? Feeble Foe has been popped though, and Wulfric is trying his best to drag one down. He doesn't want to fight both at the same time, however he knows there's a ton of healing on display, I suppose, from the High Elves, so he's really trying to focus one down, break it, and therefore he can chase it off, and the healing has no impact. Looks like Marauders were just about forced off here. They actually seem to be winning that engagement eventually, but the second unit did come in. Ammunition is now very low, but they can cycle charge into the rear of all these Marauder units, try to break them up where possible, as well as focus down the Marauder Horse Masters and the like. So Treemen slowly being dragged down here, not too much to say. It is just a big blobby grind fest, unfortunately. But Berserkers and Marauders are getting that lovely Berserker buff now, as you can see applied here, increasing their leadership for now, and that will increase and go up as well. Lovely pendulum once more. We've seen very nice pendulums throughout. It looks like they caught those Reavers who have now been terrified and broken off. Hounds can now feast happy. Horse Masters can even chase them down as well. And forcing off this skirmish court is really going to help out the Norscans, as now all of those javelins can be used into the Treeman and to be forced off and dragged down. Looks like one has already been picked apart. And I think that's pretty much game over, unfortunately. for the forces of High Elves. Treeman has been completely shattered now, and very well played to Valkanos in the sight of a dreaded healing box. He has managed to pull it out the bag there and level it up to 1-1 in this first best-of-3 semi-final. So very well played to him. Big fan of his build all round. I think it countered a lot of what our High Elves can bring. Enough troops to swarm if necessary, but at the same time, a few key targets like the Horsemasters, Famir Warriors and Wulfric, who can take down some of the larger threats. I think the biggest factors in that battle was the Pendulum and Boat play all round, really chewing through the front line. You can see Sylvan Guard, even the Pure Main Company and the Regiment around Spim didn't really do anything, and once those buffs were lost as well, they slowly kind of got picked apart. But I do love the double tree man pick by Mr. Worldwide. Some pretty crazy stuff indeed. GG's. So let's go on to the last map here, which is going to be Langworth. And there we go. So it is Valkanos to pick and ban 3. Oh no, pick 3 and ban 1. Cool. So let's update the scoreboards. Sorry, while they sort out their stuff, and then I will come chill out with you guys. What did you think of that one? That was a pretty good, exciting stuff all round. Properties. There we go. Change that to a 1-1. I think the mobile core was pretty key as well. The Lane Reaver archers needed to get those Horsemasters offline, but they can never quite get there, mainly because they kept wheeling around the blob in the middle and kind of darting out the side, and then getting them caught by Marauders and Hounds as well at that Pendulum to finish them off really did kind of punish them a bit at the end. Cool, so looks like these guys are going to be sorting themselves out. So what did you guys think of that one? I mean, Pendulum cost wins of magic. And that one was definitely overcast. Yeah, that Pendulum was some really good play around. That blob looks terrorizing. It did look pretty scary. What's up, dog? How's it going, man? Hope you're all good today. Always good to see you around. Christian, I mean, the boat's pretty undodgeable. The Pendulum is dodgeable. It can be hard to see sometimes when cast on your own troops, so I will agree, but it was certainly overcast as well. A good old tree man box. Seuss there should have been here to see it. He would have been proud. Gotta love the tree man. Shadow of Nagarath. Did I play you the other day, by the way? I saw your name pop up in the training grounds, and it seemed really familiar. But who knows? Like Sun Tzu says, defeat the opponent without the fight. Exactly. If you ban all your opponent's factions, he has to concede. A mirror match, exactly. Yeah, forest blobs do work in the forest. New rules have changed, however. That you can no longer have the majority of your army camping in a forest. The rules have been changed, even if you're attacking with other units, I'm afraid. Valkanos is going the dreaded Vampirates, considered by most to be the most powerful faction in the game, and he's going to be banning... oh no, he's picking Vampirates, Bretonia, and Vampire Counts, and banning Dowie. And it looks like Mr. Worldwide is very wisely going to be banning Vampirates and picking Lizardmen. Valkanos going Vampire Counts. Now, I actually did a video just on this matchup. I think today, it went up. And this used to be a matchup considered by most to be heavily Lizardman favoured. And as a Lizardman main, I absolutely despise this matchup. Mainly, I think, because Vampire Count mains have really got to learn this matchup quite a lot. And you simply cannot box in this matchup anymore, which is what players used to do. You go real tight box and try to pull it out of the bag that way. But most Vampire Counts players have kind of seen through that and now have a few tools up their sleeve to kind of deal with it. You'll often see Banshees as well, double Banshees, good against all the big dinos. But I think one thing that can counter actually is if you go box build, I think you should go a Fire Slam, which I know some people may disagree with, but I think Flaming Sword of Ruin to give you that fire and magic damage on the kind of whole area of a box build will really help out take down Banshees and other troops. But who knows, we'll have to see what Mr. Worldwide does bring to the table. He's certainly shown himself to be a fine competitor so far. You can dodge Pendulum. I've dodged Pendulums before. You do tend to have to go forward. Don't try to walk backwards if you see a Pendulum, because your troops will turn around, and by that time it's too late. It's pretty quick, but it's not like anywhere near as bad as the boat. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's still, I think overall it's still Lizardmen favourite, but if you're against a Vampire Count main, I'm never sure these days. I've seen a ton of Vampire Count players like deliberately going into this matchup now, probably because they've practiced it so much. We've seen similar things before with Chaos players in a well-known matchup like Vampire Counts, which counts them, actually trying to trick their opponent into going for them because they've devised a build and the like. Invocation Neck should not be a common spell. Replace it with Gaze and Gash in terms of Winds of Magic. Yeah, I mean, Vampire Counts kind of need it a little bit. They're not considered too crazy, I don't think. 2 Solars and 2 Salamanders. Yeah, I've been, I think, actually kiting the counts here may be the way to go. You've got to kind of deal with the cavalry as well. So, large cav contingent, some Salamanders, even like the basic one, the Mama Salamander, the Ancient Salamander, and like the Umbral Tide or something, or just basic ones, can really do some pretty decent work as well on those blobs. Rumble in the jungle, except it's a forest. Ready. Good to see these guys in good spirits. It's certainly winnable now, yeah. It's certainly winnable. What's up, Mario Meister? How's it going, dude? Hope you're doing good today, man. Looks like we've got a load of new people here as well, so welcome, welcome. If you those who don't know, Death Before Dishonour is a tournament series I run quite regularly. It tends to have like a week or two break in between kind of seasons, where we'll have 4 qualifiers. The winner of each qualifier does book his place in the grand finals, where there will be a showdown for the ultimate season prize. And Dacta is already through. He won the first heat, and we are on heat number 2 here, first of the semi-finals, and it has come down to the wire in this best of 3. After this, we do have 2 more competitors who are going to be duking it out here, and then we'll be having a best of 5 finals. What's up, Lux? How are you? I don't recommend playing it at all. Are you talking about the matchup, Viking? I mean, Vampire Count players seem to love it, so I don't know. I'm doing a K-Ducky watching your stream while I bake. Hell yeah, man. What are you baking? It was my birthday a week or so ago now. And my housemates baked me a strawberry cheesecake. It was delicious. So good. I need to get my baking skills up a little bit. So here we go, we are loading in, and for Valkanos and his undeadly hordes here, it looks like we have some pretty standard stuff, or what I was expecting or no. Actually, no, not quite. I actually think Terror Guys is pretty good here. We have a ton of zombies in the front line, the most unhappy of chaff, so not cheap and cheerful, they're cheap and very sad, just meat sacks here to grind down the enemy, block them in to allow other troops to saturate on top, do some decent damage, and to take charges. Apart from that, we do have Graveguard mixed in with the Sternsman Regiment of Round version, which can do a ton of work. They're very sticky, they have regeneration, however, they are weak to fire, and Lizardmen can bring a ton of fire damage. 3 Fellbats up in the sky as well to put a bit of pressure on chameleons and the like, and chase down routing troops. In the main battle line, we do have a Vargulf as well as a basic Mortis engine, no Regiment of Renowned one here. And we also have, looks like, Henrik Kemmler coming in, of course, with the Krell summon, Invocation of Nahek, and Raise Dead. We do have a Banshee. It looks like double Banshee, which is pretty much you always see. I haven't seen a Vampire Count versus Lizardmen replay where I haven't seen double Banshee in like a year. They're just so good in this matchup. And then we have Cryptoras as well to help grind down the opponent. So pretty standard stuff, but pretty good stuff all round. Nice pick indeed. And for the forces of Mr. Worldwide here, we do have triple Pterodon Riders up in the sky, supporting a unit of Skink Skirmishers, so a nice little skirmish core. We do have Temple Guard as well, looks like a triple Temple Guard. We have a Skink Priest of Beast, love to see it, on the Engine of the Gods. What a man of the people Mr. Worldwide is here, bringing some pretty crazy stuff for sure. Potent of Warden is given that 5% damage resistance as well. We have the Mighty Slar Mage Priest of Life coming in with Regrowth, Earthblood, as well as his Banishment and Shield of the Old Ones and all that stuff. And a Feral Dread Saurian. True lad here. It looks like the Temple Guard battle line as well. One of them is the Star Chamber Guardians. A perfect pick here, mainly because, one, they're super cool and tough, but they have that magic damage as well. And I love the build for sure. I think the Mighty Feral Dread Saurian is a very nice pick indeed. Good luck, have fun, has been said. Not enough Dread Saurians, he needs the Shredder. Malverde is the kind of true seer here, he knows all. So perhaps the one Feral Dread Saurian will not be enough, we needed the Shredder Papa. So hopefully Mr. Worldwide does know about the rule change. I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, he does still have to advance with his main troops, even if he is advancing with other troops, if they're kind of majority in the forest. So, Skinks are floating forward here with Pterodon's going to be focusing down the Fellbats, it seems. Could be a good target to actually force off, although you don't want to waste your ammunition on them. Going for the lightly armoured Crypt Horrors would probably be a better idea, as the Fellbats do start to flock forwards here. Skink Skirmishers are pressurising as well. Looks like they are going to be falling back slightly, as the mighty beasts do lumber from their tree line. Feral-Dread Saurians quite happily, though, sniffing a tree for now, and just chilling out, having a good time. Pterodon Riders are going to be floating up overhead. Looks like they're just going back and forth for now. Neither army really wanting to commit to a full assault just yet, getting the better, the understanding and bearings of each other builds before they do start to advance. Looks like the Lizardmen are going to take the initiative here, pushing forward into the open plain. Cryptoras are getting a few darts to the face as well for their troubles. Banshees swanning ahead of the builds as well, so they're going to be looking to get on top of the big beasties. They do not want to tangle with a Slan Mage Priest, however. 320 weapon strength is certainly no joke, and that magic damage will get through the Banshee's kind of cloak of protection. Pterodon Riders just chilling for now. They do, of course, all have their rock drops, which could be pretty key into the late game. It looks like the Skink Priest just eyeing up. I can't wait to try and catch these Engine of the Gods strikes. That can do some pretty good damage. Fellbats are engaging up in the skies up against Pterodon Riders, but 1 unit against 2 will not go very well for the Fellbats. Skink Skirmishers are now starting to unleash some shots as well, as the Temple Guard do push their way into the front line. Star Chamber Guardians are going to be popping onto the zombies as well as the Crypt Horrors. A good target for them are these Crypt Horrors. We'll be able to drag them down relatively successfully. Pterodon Riders, once again, still pressuring Fellbats, which is an interesting use of the ammunition. I don't think if they expend all their ammo, they'll even be able to kill the unit of Fellbats, but who knows. Crypt Horrors are now being focused down by the Skink Skirmishers. Fellbats certainly want to punish these people, as applying poison like that all game will certainly add up and really help out in the big old blob fight. And in comes that lovely shot from the Skink Priest here, burning its way through mainly chaff, although it looks like the Sternsman got hit as well. If I'm not mistaken, that does indeed do magic damage and fire damage, and the Sternsman there just get pretty much one shot. They still have 57 models all round, which is really lovely for them, so they can be healed up. Actually, I suppose it doesn't matter, they are undead, so they can be healed regardless, but they are going to start crumbling now and suffering quite badly. Fellbats are floating around the sky, still trying to hunt down Pterodon Riders where possible. The blob fight does begin. Star Chamber Guardians are in the perfect place here, destroying Crypt Horrors who have been poisoned, as well as surrounding that Mortis engine in an attempt to bring it down. Temple Guard on this flank, though, are kind of tied up by zombies, so they certainly want to loop around where possible and get involved in the main fight. Feral-Dread Saurian with Aura of Quetzal on it is getting its teeth wet here on some Crypt Horrors, but an upgraded Invocation Heck is going to be keeping all these troops fighting. The Sternsmen, despite taking such a large shot, are still going to be fighting. Skink Priest only got 22 kills there, actually, but, it's the damage that counts. That's something I would love to see added in at some point as well, like a damage counter to units, apart from just kills on the end screen. But I don't know. I don't know if you'll find that useful or not. I think it'd be quite cool. Skink Priest Beast is going strong here, trying his little heart out to take down the Feral-Dread Saurians. Looks like a regrowth has been popped, though, to try and keep him alive and active. And it looks like it's going relatively well so far for the Lizardmen, but this is always the problem. You think it's going well, and then all your troops kind of slowly get Mortis engine to death. Pterodon Riders have been used to force off the Fellbats, which is really quite key. You always want to keep one unit of Fellbats alive so they can chase off key targets in the back line, because now he's lost their mobility. Pterodon Riders can simply drop rocks and kind of rear charge enemy troops. Every time a Lizardman unit does rout, it can simply come back to the fray. So it looks like some zombies have been summoned with a really nice intent here to push back the Skink Skirmishers. These guys need to take off their fire at will, so not kind of unleashing shots into just dead zone here, really. These zombies aren't really worth any points. And it looks like the Slar Mage Priest is going to continue to dart in, trying to focus down the Banshees, who are being consistently stabbing and poking at this Feral-Dread Saurian. Cold-Blooded has been popped on him, but he's taking quite a bit of damage now. Slarner and the Star Chamber Guardians, if possible, need to get in and shut them down, or they will slowly break down your Lizardmen builds. Looks like the Skink Priest is starting to suffer here a little bit, completely surrounded by Crypt Horrors, and it looks like Krell is in the action as well as that Vargulf. And if the Priest goes down, that is another Burning Enlightenment gone, and I want to see that Burning Enlightenment, so hopefully he will indeed stand. We do have the regiment around zombies just lurking in the trees here, perhaps just waiting to come in for the late game to help grind down troops even more. And this is a huge problem here for the Lizardmen. The Star Chamber Guardians, one of their best accesses to magic damage here to help deal with those Banshees, is getting incredibly low here, and dragged down pretty badly, down to just 24 models. Although some of them are fighting over the side as well. Banshees are both looking relatively healthy, continuing to shank that Feral Dread Saurin, but Slar Mage Priest with Shield of the Old Ones popping in there should be able to draw them relatively well. They need to be very careful and to keep darting around, not giving that Slan too many good opportunities. In the back, on the over on the flank here, Skink Skirmishers are now continuing to dart shots back and deciding to ignore the zombies completely, thinking they're a bit stupid and smelly. I'm just going to let the edge of the unit fight while the rest do pour missile fire in, which I think is a good idea. Real try to punish this Mortis engine while you can. It has broken at the Star Chamber Guardians, but down it goes despite the invocation of Nehek attempt to keep it healed up, and I think that is really going to help out the Lizardmen, who were starting to struggle quite badly here. I think that's going to help them quite a bit. Lizardmen continuing to dart shots in, but once again only onto zombies. Star Chamber Guardians, 17 models should return to the fray there. They are pretty elite and badass. Looks like we're going to get a banishment onto the Regiment of Renowned Zombies in the back line, which isn't the worst idea. I think it would have been better spent kind of getting units off the front line, but I guess it's, a little nod to him saying, I know you're hiding there, and wants to get them off the field before they really get involved at all here. Feral Dread Saurin trying its best, but it's not really doing any damage to the Banshees. It's still worth hitting them. I mean, with 600 weapon strength, when you do connect, you're still going to leave a dent. But yeah, Slar Mage Priest of Life really trying his best here to focus down the Banshees, but they are slippery, simply going to bounce away and hunt down the Dread Saurin. Temple Guard in the distance have been getting dragged down, but now there is no Mortis engine left. They may be able to kind of get back into the thick of it. Fortunately, the Skink Priest, who believed he could, has been forced off here and completely shattered. 50 health. He should be able to slink back to Lustra. It's probably quite a long walk, however, from the realms of Bretonia. Looks like Terran Rise are going to be going in for the Cycle Charge as well now, and that Feral Dread Saurin is getting danger low. Well, I say danger low, still has 5,000 HP, but Feral Dread Saurin, that is not considerably much. Looks like Henrik Kemmler here is having a whale of a time, up to 0 kills, but he's going to be tackling and casting spells, and there's nothing really to threaten him at the moment. Slar Mage Priest is taking a bit of a beating now as well, completely surrounded by the undead. Vargulf, though, needs to be careful here. He's been munched on by that Dread Saurin, and it may be wounded, but it can still turn around and slap you silly if you're not careful. That Vargulf wants to retreat and get back to friendly territory, healed up, and then go after the Slan and other key targets. Looks like the Dread Saurin has pulled out of combat for now, trying to escape the Banshees, but they're pretty quick. And it looks like the Terran Rise have all started to break as well. Double Temple Guard still going strong, or is Quetzal going to be keeping them alive and active. And they'll do decent damage still, but they're surrounded by Graveguard and just a horde of monstrous units. It's going to be pretty rough. Looks like the Regiment of Renowned Zombies have popped on top of the Skink Skirmishers as well, but once again, Skink Skirmishers are electing to shoot in instead, applying that poison and ignore the zombies where possible. Henrik Kemmler's just having a whale of a time as well, just watching the madness unfold. He must be loving this. Look at him, this little armoured force there, as the Feral Dread Saurin does try to push forward, but is struggling still, and it's basically become a big old grind fest, which does favour the Vampire Counts. They are the masters of the grind. As you can see, they do quite actually no, they outnumber them not too much, but I suppose that is due to the Skink Skirmishers being alive and the Temple Guard. Feral Dread Saurin is certainly not having any of this defeat talk, however, popping back in and going to be trying to take out Crypt Horrors, but this is a problem with the Dread Saurin in general. You can see it kind of gets bugged and like stuck down on trees and monstrous units and cavalry and stuff, and it kind of forgets to do its attack animation, which is a bit of a problem, but it is pretty good in this matchup, and it's certainly putting in some work here, up to 90 kills, gaining 2 chevrons, and it's receiving an Earthblood for its troubles as well. It looks like the Vargulf is going to be getting some nice attacks on this Slar Mage Priest. Dread Saurin trying to loop up and around to help protect where possible. Temple Guard have been forced off here. 31 is still a decent amount as well. Looks like some summoned zombies are going to be chasing them, and they've got a ways to go though to the edge of the board, so perhaps they should be able to rally and come back. But some Crypt Horrors have darted out from the main engagement to really crump those Skink Skirmishers. And it looks like army losses is indeed going to set in, and that is a victory for the legendary Valkanos and the Vampire Counts. Awesome blob build, some really crazy stuff. And yeah, really well played. Welcome guys. Looks like we've also gained an absolutely massive amount of people. I think this is the most we've ever had on a stream. So thank you guys for all the support, and I hope you appreciated that first best of 3. We do have a second one on the way, as well as a best of 5 finals. Well played to Valkanos, proving the doubters wrong. Vampire counts shall reign supreme in this matchup. Now, Mr. Worldwide going for a bit more of an OG classic Lizardmen build, which I think the real way to go now is Skirmish, but at the same time, it's kind of tough. Vampire counts can shut that down as well. It's a pretty tricky matchup all round. Temple Guard, though, making the old ones proud. And what a lad Mr. Worldwide has been all Torment. Double Tree Men and a Dread Sorin. You have to absolutely love it. But those Banshees, so pesky indeed. Cool, so we'll begin the other 2 lads in now as well. So let's update the scoreboard quickly. So that was 2-1 there to Valkanos, which is really nice to see. A nice comeback there as well. And he will be going on to the finals. So I'm just going to message the last 2 guys. So bear with me a second. Mr. Prussian Prince. And Leopard making his debut on the channel. What's Leopard's name on here? I believe it's representing clan CLL. You guys are up. So I'm just going to let the guys know they can PM me their friend code if they can't see the lobby. And the maps will be, for this matchup, River Maxon, Valley of Thieves, and Schwesterhafen. So let's pop over to River Maxon in preparation. I'll wait to see which of the guys loads in first before we sort out scoreboards and all that good stuff. Hope you guys have been doing good. Italian clan. Oh, awesome. Are they related to NK? Oh, NK Defactors. Interesting stuff. We have a... Oh, okay, no worries, Prussian Prince. Yeah, we've played a Clan Wars up against NK. It's been really good fun before. So, let's get in Prussian Prince if possible. Check my Steam. Looks like I have a friend request. Steam does some weird stuff sometimes where it like kick you off and stuff, so looks like we have Prussian Prince, just waiting on the Leopard Meister himself. Yeah, we've got a big following actually from the Tilia group of the Italian Total War players, so it's always good to see them on the channel as well. Let's see if Prussian Prince is now online. Played him quite a few times before, so there he is. Let's get him in here, and we'll just wait on Leopard. Job is to win, and you did. That is true. The name of lobby is, I think it's called Duck Final or something. Vexus, are you Leopard by any chance? People haven't caught on to the dreaded Volkmar Double Warrior Priest Greatsword blob yet. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell, that's a blob I'd love to see for Sigma. Guark, how's it going, man? Hopefully get you in one of these tournaments soon as well. You played some crazy games a couple of weeks ago in a stream I saw. I can't remember whose it was. It was either Darv's or Turin's or something. Malverde, send me an invite to him, man. Yeah, it's called DBD Finals. Hey! Hey, bud. Let's see, I'll get Leopard to PM me. If he can't find it. So it is Leopard Vexus? I'm not sure. Yeah, I know. I tell people at the start of every tournament, please tell me your true name so I can find you when this stuff does kick off. But, you know, it is what it is. Hope you guys are enjoying so far, though. So we have a second best of 3. And one of these lucky lads will get to meet Valkanos in the best of 5 finals. If you are enjoying, feel free to give the video a big old thumbs up and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. Sorry I repeat that so much, but, you know, it really does actually help out the channel quite a lot. Helps get it to more people and helps it grow, so apologies. Hi, says Prussian Prince, a true champ. I believe he beat me in a semi-finals not too long ago on a V-Claw stream. It's called DVD Finals. PM me friend code if you can't see it. Cool. Just sorting out getting Leopard in here. Go, go, go! What's up, DJ? Vex is Leopard's friend. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Of course, play what you want. Yeah, just play whatever you want, as long as it's got scaly skin. And, you know, praises the old ones. I'm down for you to play whatever. Oh, I think I just got a Steam request. I did. There we go, Leopard. We're now bonded for life. So, let's get you in here, buddy. Leopard! Boom. Password is 123 if you are listening, man. We're making good time as well. Hour for the first leg, first semi-final. Probably about an hour for the second one, and an hour for the final as well. Rubber at CLL Leopard. I have, man. I've added him and I've sent him an invite. Oh, see, Sarge71, this is why you are a true champ. Thank you so much. Hey. River Maxon. Valley of Thieves. And, oh god, I always can't spell this one. The maps. Cool, let's quickly hop over and check which one of them picks some bands first, which is going to be the mighty Prussian Prince. I believe I picked, yes. Cool, and thanks to Sarge, I'll actually remember to do this, which is reset all the scores. That was a really awesome best of 3 between those two guys in the first one as well. It's always cool to see units like, or armies like Vampire Counts get some love, because they don't get too much, unfortunately. And I think he really did show that they can pack a punch on the competitive scene. So here we go. We have the Prussian, well, I'll just call him Prussian for now, or the Prussian P, just so it fits in the box nicely. But guys, if you could all give a massive shout out as well, a round of applause to Mr. Malverde, who I believe is in chat, for designing this glorious overlay for me. I'd really appreciate it. He put in a lot of hard work, and it looks freaking amazing. I love it. The little ducks holding the scoreboards is just such a clever idea. Cool, so there we go. Looks like we are back to normal. Oh, I have a ton of messages on Discord. I sent you friendship. I love that. God, Leopard just saying he had sent me friendship. So, Prussian Prince is going greenskins, banning Vampirates and Lizardmen. I think those are some wise bans all round. Vampirates just pretty good. And Lizardmen, I actually think counter greenskins relatively well, but not in the way people think. I think you actually go to just out blitz and shoot the greenskins can be rather effective. Had a really good game up against Hubert not too long ago, which I may cast, I may not, because it's a Lizardmen build I've used a lot, but it came down to like a Croc Guard just beating on some Stone Trolls. It was really cool stuff. So we'll have to see who Leopard does play. He is making his debut on the channel here, representing Clan CLL. Hope to see those guys in action more and more, as you know, we do more Clan Wars, trying to bring that Clan War kind of essence back a little bit to the multiplayer scene, and should be some fun. I don't know who he mains, so it'll be interesting to see what he does bring. Thank you, Ducky, no worries. Finally, someone who appreciates counts. Well, Legion, normally I don't despise counts. I don't play counts much. But I do really appreciate people who play counts to a high level. It's the same with Chaos. You don't really get to see Chaos too much at all. So people like Papa Palpatine, who does indeed bring them and, you know, wins big games kind of on the big stages. It's so good to see, rather than just seeing, you know, the same old kind of armies win. Which I'd say at the moment, the most powerful factions, I mean, it does depend on your playstyle, and I think you can win with any faction. But yeah, I think Vampirates are definitely top tier with kind of greenskins. Certainly bring some scary stuff. Leopard does indeed pick Empire. Looks like Prussian Prince was ready. Looks like he has a build in store for him here, as he is ready straight away. So we'll simply wait on the Leopard Meister himself before hopping in here. What's up, Paint for Fun? How's it going, man? Take that thank you back. Sorry, Legion. No, don't leave me. We have BBB, CLL Clan War coming soon. That sounds exciting stuff. Please let me know where that is going to be shown. I'll definitely try to check it out. Ronin, how's it going, man? I hope you're all good. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you today in action. Hopefully we'll have you back soon. But yes, the winner of this semi-final will go through to the finals. The winner of that one will be meeting at Dacta in the grand finals, which will be probably in about a month. It depends, because I've got a few things to do. We might not have a stream next week, because I have the world's, it's like the world's smallest operation, but I don't know realistically what I'm going to be, able to do or not do, and I've got to be, in and out, to hospital, a little bit. So there may not be some streams next week. I'll try and sneak some in, but we'll have to see. Good to see Leopard in the semis. Amazing Italian player. Well, he's up against triple RTK threat, as he's going... The other 3 players are all members of the same clan, so he's representing Italy. Doing the best he can. Sadly, Britannia is annoying a bit, but still fine. Yeah, Britannia tends to play, similar ways, it seems. A ton of cav and just... You get 8 units of Peasant Bowmen. But, it's always good fun to see them as well, because they're a bit underrepresented. Anyway, here we go. The mighty Prussian Prince coming in with the lads, which is going to be some glorious stuff. We have Orc Boys dotted along the front line. So going relatively cheap and cheerful. They are shielded and they can absorb a lot of damage themselves and give it back to a decent degree up against state troops and the like. We have the 8 peak loons being used in a secondary line here. Big fan of this. I do this with miners as well as fanatics. It allows you to move forward and guarantees you're going to be able to get off all your fanatics or blasting charges and that type of stuff. We do have Orc Boar Boys on the flank, as well as double Stone Trolls backing up the build. In the centre, we have double Giant River Troll Hags. Very interesting stuff. One brilliant Spirit Leech, and the other one coming in with, it looks like pretty much nothing. We do have Overwhelming Odour, of course, as well as Myva. It looks like I bring in the Assault Stones, however. We also have Grom the Paunch as well. Coming in with all his buffs, going to make him very tanky, as he does that glorious animation where he eats the massive chunk of meat. And I always forget the name of his little goblin, but look at him go. It's always good stuff. And we do have a ton of skirmishers on either flank as well, in the form of Forest Goblin, Spider Rider, Archer. So going for, again, a little bit of a, not full box build, but kind of like a mobile box, which is cool to see, with a load of skirmishers. As for the forces of the Empire here and the mighty Leopard, we have 3 company militia hiding in the forests, 2 units of them, and the front line is going to be unbreakable fanatics of Sigma in the form of Flagellants dotted all the way along. Should be able to trade relatively effectively, I think, against the Orc Boys. It's not a matchup I see terribly often. We then have a ton of spearmen with shields as well on either flank, and 3 company militia as well to boot on the right-hand side. We have triple demi-griffs. It looks like we have 2 lances and 1 with halberds here. Funny story, the ones with lances are actually better up against cavalry. I know I say that every stream, but people seem to get shocked still. But the halberds, of course, better at dealing with the larger entities. We do have Arch-Lector on this left-hand flank, coming in with all his buffs, as well as a War Priest on the other hand side. So they're going to be trying to support the Demigriffs where possible. We also have a Jade Wizard for some healing, Earthblood, and Shield of Thorns. Really fun builds. It's going to be some pretty crazy stuff. I think the Stone Trolls are certainly going to have to get those old clubs wet and do some pretty decent damage. Otherwise, the Demigriffs do threaten here to kind of overwhelm and just run over the majority of this build. I'm expecting Spirit Leeches down on them as well. Looks like they are ready. What about Cryptos? Oh, sorry. Looks like you guys are having a separate discussion. That's so cool. Go Leopard. Looks like we have a fewer of Leopard's fans in chat. As both armies stare down against each other, kind of deployed very far apart, so there will be an early skirmish phase, as the Forest Goblin, Spider Rider, Archers do ticker and tat their way to the forest, and going to be slowly pushing forward. Interested to see how the 3 company militia do. These guys actually pack quite a decent punch at long range, which I think people do overlook sometimes. Now I'm going to be darting forward here and saying hello to those Spider Rider Archers. Looks like Morgrub's Mangy Marauders are a part of that contingent as well. But they're certainly going to get some decent fight on the Flagellants. These poor fellows do have 0 armour, which is not going to be very good in their favour when it comes to deflecting arrows. But perhaps the Mightious Shield of Sigma shall indeed protect them. Looks like 3 company militia are going to be pushing up here, trying to exchange fire, but very wisely Prussian Prince does pull back with his skirmish corps, and it's going to be a slow push from the Empire, I think, with militia occasionally stopping to try and push back the Spider Rider Archers, and then simply weaving back and forth, trying to do damage where they can, getting some nice shots here into the Flagellants. Although a lot of the Empire forces will be able to move through the tree line as well. Looks like for the most part, Greenskins quite happy to sit at the back of the board here, which may work against them. They, of course, are going to push forward when the Empire get close, but Greenskins are notorious for routing, and being so close to the back of the board does cause huge problems. But I'm expecting them to advance as the battle does progress. Free Company Militia are trading fire now with Morgrub's Mangy Marauders. Not doing a terrible job of it, although some of them have taken some pretty big damage. Another unit has wrapped its way up and around the flank as well. We've seen an Earthblood go down on these flagellants. Not a bad idea. They've only actually lost 3 models despite the damage taken. That's probably going to be worthwhile all round, as the Spider Rider archers are now getting forced back towards the main of this Greenskins force. The Forest Commissar archers now trying to get some rear attacks done on these flagellants as well. Really trying to focus down one unit in particular. If they can kill it, it'd be worth it. They haven't expended too much ammunition left. Yet, sorry. Looks like Greenskins are going to be repositioned as well. He needs to start advancing and kind of getting away from the edge of the white line, however, as the Empire forces do start to approach it. Demogryphs are going to be darting forwards as well, bounding along the grass here as they slowly advance. Looks like in the back line, those Spider Rider archers still being pesky. Everything focusing down on these one flagellants. Demogryph Knights are advancing now through the trees as well, and I am still pretty worried that when the Demogryph Knights hit, they're simply going to run over the majority of this build. And yeah. So looks like Warrior Priest is hanging quite low back here. Free Company Militia have started firing. It looks like now finally the Orc boys do start to advance. It looks like Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers as well. Going to go into combat up against the Free Company Militia, trying to pin them in place, and the Orc boys are going to try and follow up here. But the Demogryphs have arrived, and they're going to counterpunch way harder than some precious little Orc boys. And yeah, they do get slapped a little bit, but not too much there. So it looks like the charge was messed up there by the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers as the flagellants start to go around their butcher's work. Warrior Priest is now rallying the troops as well as they dart into combat. Orc Boar boys are alive and well, focusing down Spearmen. They're actually pretty good on the shock charge on the front lines, but they're still going to pull back now as Demogryphs are lancing in, doing massive damage to the Orc boys, who are also taking consistent fire from the Free Company Militia. Shield of Faith and Hammer of Sigma has gone down, and yeah, these Orc boys are getting annihilated here, and they certainly want to fall back before they do break too much. We do see a Spirit Leech come down on top of those Demogryphs, no doubt, which is a really good pick. And in comes those rocks flying from the sky from the Hag, doing massive damage to the Free Company Militia, as well as the Demogryph Knights, who are starting to suffer a little bit on this left-hand side. Free Company Militia have opened up several firing lanes. It looks like the Greenskin main bulk of their force on this left-hand flank has been forced back as well. We are going to see another of the big old rock drops coming down, but Spearmen do manage to push mainly out of the way. They are going to get clipped on this left-hand side. Orc boys being used by Prussian Prince to pin them in there, which is some really lovely play by himself. Demogryph Knights are trying to push in to the Giant River Troll Hag. One unit has been forced off, however. It looks like the big kind of blob of Greenskins is starting to do some pretty decent damage to that Arch-Elect, who needs to fall back here. Spirit Leech has been popped on him. He simply cannot escape all the Stone Trolls. It looks like the blob may yet be victorious. But on either flank, the Empire are certainly doing rather well. It looks like the ones on the left have had to commit to this frontline engagement. Some Earthbloods coming down may be able to assist as well. Arch-Elect has been broken. He needs to be rallied here by the forces of Leopard if he wants a chance to get back into this game. A ton of infantry is going to be walking over. There's not too much pit pressure on all these Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. Free Company Militia are unleashing a salvo of shots into the rear of these troops and going to do some decent damage, but not before they've already wrecked some of their buddies there. And yeah, brilliant kind of experienced play by Prussian Prince here. Going to be taking the Morgrub's Mangy Marauders and forcing off this Arch-Elector. There is no way he's going to let him come back to the fray, and that is a massive boon to the Greenskin forces. It's certainly not all over yet, though. This Warrior Priest has taken up the mantle and the fight, really desperately trying to drag down these Stone Trolls, but it looks like the Death Star or Death Blob is going to be victorious. His balance power is going relatively heavily in the favour of the Greenskins, and a lot of the Empire troops are incredibly beat up at this point. Demogryph Knights maybe should want to pull over here and deal with the Morgrub's Mangy Marauders, and somehow that Arch-Elector rallies. This is one odd thing that sometimes happens with routing troops, I swear, where they manage to rally where they shouldn't do, and he's going to turn and smite some of the Morgrub's Mangy Marauders, who flee tail between legs, and perhaps if he can rally over here, get involved in this big blob fight, there is hope yet, but there's just so much regeneration on work. I think if a Firecaster had been brought here instead of an Earthblood or a Lifecaster, A simple Flaming Sword of Ruin would have won this game for the forces of the Empire. Getting a little risky with all the regeneration. We've got Grom, we've got the Hags, we've got the Stone Trolls, but still, it's certainly paid off for him here, and the Warrior Priests are starting to suffer. It looks like most of the Free Company militia have been cleared up on the outskirts as well, and even the mighty Demigryph Knights have been sunken as low as they're being beaten back by Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. Empire still standing firm and trying to fight desperately where they can. Looks like they are bringing down the Holy Wrath of Sigma and some of these Orc boys. But the Apic Loons, they're going to be here to fight for a while as well. And there's so many Stone Trolls left. Grom is full health, and he can go toe-to-toe with the best of them, especially some lowly Warrior Priest, with, in his eyes, the fake god Sigma, as the mighty Gork and Mork does imbue him with extra fightiness power to help deal with such threats. Archlector has popped all his buffs, but it's not going to do him too much good, I don't think, up against so many foes. And it looks like army losses is just about to set in for the Empire forces. So very well played by the mighty Prussian Prince. He's going to be taking this first game 1-0. Imagine Volkmar here. Oh, Volkmar would have been lovely. It does make you do magic damage, yes, I suppose. But I think the fire... Would it still not do more damage? Due to their, like, massive fire weakness? Who knows? But either way, it would have helped, I suppose, up against the Giant Rebel Hags and Groms. I still think it would have been a worthwhile pick. But very well played, close fought game. Really early skirmishing phase as well was pretty interesting to watch, with the Free Company militia attempting to out-skirmish the skirmishers, but they didn't quite have enough in them in the end. That was a pretty big deciding factor, because it allowed the Forest Goblin Spider Riders simply in the late game, once the blob had formed, to swoop around, deal with the Free Company militia, and then consistently apply that poison and damage over time. But really well played, Prussian Prince, taking the first game. GG, well played. The next map is going to be Valley of Thieves. So let's hop over to there. There we go. Valley of Thieves. Up next. I think I've spelled that completely wrong, but oh well, they'll get the drift. Let's update the scoreboard. Prussian Prince trying his best here to make an all-RTK final. Is going to take this up to 1-0 for now in this best of 3. But if we learned anything from the last one, don't count your ducks too early, as Valkynos did fight back from 1-0 down to secure victory. Just going to check my Discord quickly, as I have a question. Oh, Malverde, thank you. I'll accept that after the stream, so I can actually talk to the guys rather than kind of midway through. But thanks very much for the invite. I think Grom needs a bit of a nerf as well. Maybe a little bit. His items are particularly powerful. That Lucky Banner is pretty disgusting. But he can get nuked as well from fire damage and stuff. But that was a, yeah, pretty damn clever build, I think, coming by Prussian Prince. Really taking advantage of some of the good greenskin tools. And as I said earlier, I think greenskin's probably the second best faction in the game right now, all that stuff. Congrats, RTG nubs. Warrior Priest got Fire Banner. Ah! That's really useful, actually, the Fire Banner. Did he take it? I didn't look. That was my bad. That's very clever indeed. I don't get to see the Fire Banner too often, so it's not something I look for. What's up, David the White Lizard? How's it going, bud? He is a DBD member himself. Glad you managed to catch the stream. Malverde the God. Indeed, Vexus, indeed. CLL has an awesome logo. Is that the logo right there? There's one, not sure. So let's let him know. A bird to pick and bam. I'm sure he's aware, but and he's probably just considering his options. Make sure he's dropped no questions in Discord for me. Nope, looks like we're all good. Cool. Always good to just double check. Let's lobby to allow full Cryptora armies, hell yeah! Flashbacks to Taco's full Strigoi build. I'd like to see that for sure. Oh, looks like I was a little up on chat actually, so I've now caught up with you guys. It's a rearing leopard on royal blue with a golden reef. You've put that into real beautiful words there. That sounds very badass indeed. Yeah, Fire Banner sounds pretty good. I haven't seen it in seen it too much, so I don't really look out for the logo. But I'll definitely try to look at it and check it in the future. And Leopard, man of the people, going high elves, get us some pointy ears here on this stream. Although we didn't actually see Avalon earlier, but yeah, they're half wood elves, half high elves. So let's go in high elves, banning Empire and Bretonia. We'll have to see what Prussian Prince does bring. I know Prussian Prince himself is a very good high elf player, seen him bring them on multiple occasions. And Prussian Prince also has a YouTube channel, before I forget. Completely forgot to mention that before. He's a bit of an OG Total War streamer. I think he mainly focuses on... well, he kind of took a break, I think, from Warhammer and did other games, and now he's kind of back a little bit as well. So feel free to go check him out as well. Viking says, how would you feel about Duck Cavalry DLC? Well, my plan is, like, if I can get big enough by Game 3 that CA are forced to put in a duck unit, or like a duck named unit, would be the dream. Ducks in a DLC needs to happen. I should petition to, is it Agony Duck, I think, who works for CA? That's one of the ducks does. So he'll understand the great duck cause. Looks like a Prussian Prince is indeed going Dark Elves. Not even more fire damage, please. Please save me. What did he ban? So he picked High Elves, banned Empire and Bretonia. Indian runner ducks. Oh guys, we're so close to... This is like the largest stream we've ever done, I think. So we're so close to 100 people watching in one go. Tell your mums, tell your nans. They'd love me, they love ducks. Who doesn't love a duck? But honestly, all jokes aside, thank you for supporting as always. It's always crazy how many people we get supporting. It's glorious stuff to see. And if you do want to support as well, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. And subscribe if you are new to the channel for Total War content. It really helps me out quite a lot. And you can become a duck yourself. I believe the Black Fawn has become one by becoming a member of the channel. Prussian Prince is indeed going for the Dark Princes themselves, the Dark Elves. He's just confirmed that there. Looks like he was considering. Poison Ducky, the man, the myth. My evil twin. How's it going, bud? How are you? I saw your Noob Hammer stream the other day where you were teaching new players. That is the problem, Viking. I actually really enjoy eating duck. It's like one of my favourite things to get when getting like a Chinese takeaway is the duck pancake rolls, which I know is bad, but I suppose, you know, I'm a cannibal duck. But I do also go feed the ducks down. There's a big, like, what's the right word for it? Like, nature park, I suppose? Like, where they have ducks and deer and stuff, like, near where I live. I do go and feed the ducks as well, so, you know, it's a balance. It's a balance. It's the circle of duck, the circle of life, I suppose. Just point out that Total War's vampires and goblins have pointy ears as well, yes. So we can have many pointy ears. Pointy ear showdown. Oh, 98! Oh, so close to 100. Oh, I can feel it. Oh, you have to consume duck in order to become the duck. This feels right. Yeah, Silent Spaghetti. It's Bushy Park, which is like southern London. So it's... I don't really know exactly what to call it, but yeah, it's like a huge couple of miles like wide, or like all the way around, I suppose, with like deer and stuff. They're super friendly. You don't obviously like mess with them because these stags, particularly in Bushy, I think are quite known for being huge compared to like other areas of Britain. You don't want to don't want to upset them at all, especially during like the times of the year where they fight or they mate and all that kind of stuff. But you know, they're pretty chill. You can just kind of walk by them. But it's really lovely. I try to go there at least 3 or 4 times a week. I can see through your plans. Yes, make the ducks nice and fat, nice and plump. Cool. Let these guys sort out their builds. Gonna have a little drink to keep me alive. That is that good stuff. A rubber stag of war just doesn't have the same ring to it. It's true. It's true. Rubber Duck of War came about in a really weird way, actually, the whole name. The actual honour should go to one of my friends, really, who, long before I was a Rubber Duck of War, was called a Penguin of War on, like, I think it's a PlayStation account or something, and I owned a rubber duck which had a little football shirt on, and we used to take it to football games. So then I became a rubber duck of war. Although since then, I've actually been like sent rubber ducks by like some of my friends of mine when they realised I had like a YouTube channel. So now I have like a load of like little rubber ducks. I have a devil duck, I have a joker duck, I have a normal duck. So it's actually become a bit worrying that I have a load of rubber ducks. At some point I'll show them off on stream or something. Could be quite funny. But who knows. I might AFK this game and see how OP Chaos Dowry are. Oh, Chaos Dowry are pretty OP. The mods in general are really fun. So you might have seen I've done a couple of mod battles recently. I'm not sure if I'll continue with them, like pin them on the channel and stuff. I might just keep it to normal Total War. Maybe we'll do an event at some point, like King of the Hill, but yeah, they do try to balance them. There's a load of people who put a ton of good work into them, and I really appreciate it. They do try and balance as much as possible, but of course, you know, they don't have all the time in the world, and don't have so many people to test it, so certain stuff is a little bit OP and stuff. But not intentionally, and I'm sure it'll get fixed as well. But yeah, Chaos Dwarfs are a bit overtuned. I have someone on my friends list called Empty Bread Stacks. That's so random. Are they both ready? Looks like it. Just wait on a Prussian Prince. I've graduated duck with a diploma and a little university hat on my desk. I love it. We may send you some in this week, Ducky. Oh, replays. Oh, thank God. I thought you meant more ducks. I've got a rubber Caesar duck. Hell yeah, Legion. That sounds awesome. Someone else sent me a picture of a duck that they owned. They had by their desk. Was thinking of getting a few Legionary ones. Awesome, man. I was considering doing some ducks as, like, originally that was going to be, like, the giveaway prize for, like, winning Death Before Dishonour. Like, I'd make a custom duck for them. Instead of a trophy, it'd be a custom duck. I don't know, I thought it'd be kind of funny. But last time we had a real, like, Desert Fox or Chew Champ and, like, have a prize pool for the guys, so they actually ended up fighting for some hard cash, which I'm sure they appreciated. Anyway, here we go, guys. Looking at the forces of Prussian Prince in the Ascendancy here. One up in this best of 3 semi-final is coming in with Malekith himself, wherever he's darted off to. Looks like he's constantly repositioned. We'll go through his main build first, actually. It'll be easier to follow. So we have Dread Spears and Bleak Swords in the front line. Cheap, cheerful, here to hold the line. They won't do too much damage, at least the Dread Spears, but the Bleak Swords will be able to chew through enemy spearmen. So I like the mixture of the two. They're going to hold the line as well. They're shielded, and it looks like Prussian Prince loves starting like right at the back of the board and skirmishing heavy. Comes in with Snatchers Harvesters, regiment around Doomfire Warlocks, a pretty big staple in most Dark Elf builds. We also have double Dark Riders for repeated crossbows, armor piercing very fast as well. Another fantastic pick. We have some Witch Elves in this centre pocket and a ton of Cold One Knights. It looks like 3 to be exact. Cold One Knights are pretty cool. I always have a little sad face on when I see them, though, as a Lizardman main. I'm like, you stole our pets. But still, anti-large, armor piercing will be able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of the High Elf cavalry. For Hero Core, we do have a Master, which is going to be bringing that lovely anti-large, as well as bringing Guardian to the fray, plus 15% physical resistance to help out Malekith, who is on his own little cold one here. Coming in with Stand Your Ground and Soul Stealer. So definitely going for that big old blob fight once again, and popping the Soul Stealer to get the value, but a bit more of a spread out formation this time as well. Now, for the forces here of the mighty Leopard, trying to roar victorious once more, coming with the double Illyrian Reaver Archers on the left-hand flank. Again, love to see these guys in action. Fantastic counter-skirmish for Dark Rider Crossbowmen. In the front line, we have some Rangers to help chew through the enemy, and some Silvern Guard on the flanks, which should be able to hold up pretty well, and they don't want to be swarmed, though, too much. In the centre pocket, we do have double Spearmen as well, one unit of Sisters of Avalon, as well as an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, so certainly going to pull the Dark Elves out of their shell and force them to attack here. We have double Dragon Princes, almost called them Dark Princes there, one of which is the Fireborn, and these guys can go toe-to-toe relatively well up against those Cold One Knights, but they don't want to get caught out and kind of swarmed by all 3, which I think Prussian Prince is certainly going to attempt. We have Alariel the Radiant as well, Earthblood, Fast Protection, and Star of Avalon. So that's it for the builds, guys. We'll wait for these guys to be ready, and the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny shall begin. Good luck, have fun. Good to see good sportsmanship from both of the lads there, which is one of the things we kind of hold, you know, quite highly, to be honest, in all of my tournaments, and just in general on the channel. If you're a good sport, you'll generally get invited back, or, you know, welcomed back if you want to do stuff again, and if you're not, then, you know, we'll start having problems. But to be honest, the Total War community is just so good. as far as I've not really ever had any problems. I've had like one person smurf once, and that's it. Needs a PO box where you can send rubber ducks to him. Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I might try to set that up at some point, blog, maybe to as like a celebration when we hit like 2,000 subs or something. So I'll definitely do like another like shirt giveaway and stuff when that happens. Alright, looks like the Dark Elves are on the march once more. Going to be repositioning to face the High Elves where possible. Eagleclaw Boltthrower is slowly wheeling into position as well. Probably going to be focusing down the Cold One Knights, I would assume, trying to kill models where possible. Not too many other fantastic targets. I suppose you could spread shot the Dark Riders, but I don't know if that's going to be completely worth it. Illyrian Reavers mirroring the approach of the Dark Riders, which is good to see. He's going to be floating along, not going to allow those pesky Dark Elves to escape them, at least not yet. I'm sure Prussian Prince will have a trick or two up his sleeve. He's moving over to this corner a little bit here, but there's probably going to be just repositioning and then advancing as well, trying to gain this high ground on the right-hand flank where possible. Dark Riders, however, on the other side, going to be pushing to the left. Illyrian Reavers, once again, continue to push wide. Looks like the High Elves know this tactic, and they've been taking the high ground themselves, pushing further and further up, whilst allowing the Eagleclaw Boltthrower to start unleashing hell upon the enemy. They does get a nice little shot into the Bleak Swords, killing a couple of models, but still, you know, not going to be the most value per ammunition spent. But Spread Shot has now appeared, and it's going to be raining holy fire down upon the Bleak Swords. As you see, a few of their models do get clumped, but most of them are going to be getting back up again. Some of them unfortunately get knocked down for a second time, which they're certainly not going to be enjoying at all here. Illyrian Reavers are trying to push on the Dark Riders where possible, although they are going to be fleeing for their lives. Illyrian Reavers coming with a whopping 90 speed, although it looks like Dark Riders are actually faster. No way. 92 up against 90. I thought Illyrian Reavers were much faster than Dark Riders, so you learn something new every day. Battle is taking a little bit closer to the edge there, but no one's actually trying to like block anyone from like flanking or anything. It's just the way the battle has kind of formed, I think. The Boltthrower continue to rain hell down upon the Bleak Swords. Sister Avalon as well adding their fire to the table. Looks like for the most part Prussian Prince trying to pull back his troops, drag these the Rangers into open territory, then whacking them with the Cold One Knights. Some really elite top tier micro there by Prussian Prince. Absolutely love to see it. And yeah, that unit of Rangers is pretty much doomed here. Fireborn are going to be darting into the front of the line. Don't have too many good targets here as the Cold War Knights do pull away. It looks like we are going to see a Fire's Protection come down, however. Dragon Princes still will do lovely shock damage even to the Dread Spears. They just don't want to stick around for too long. Up on the high ground, the Dark Elves have managed to wheel their way along. Bleak Swords are starting to cut their way through Spearmen. Silver and Guard as well have been punished, it looks like, by something. Not too sure what happened there. Maybe Malekith and the Master being over here. Dragon Princes are quick to respond, as well as Sisters of Avalon. Star of Avalon does go down on the Silver and Guard as well. Probably worthwhile. They still have a decent amount of models. They are going toe-to-toe with Cold One Knights as well. In the main battle line, it looks like the High Elves are actually doing pretty good. Consistent fire coming in from that Eagleclaw Boltthrower, up to 23 kills, has helped break up this centre pocket, and especially the help from those Dragon Princes. Illyrian Archers need to be careful here. This is going to be a true test to see if Leopard's Micro is on point. He's done some lovely damage to the Dark Riders, but Cold One Knights are whipping in behind here. Honestly, it might be worth coming for a charge with the Dark Riders to pin these guys in place. Looks like up on the high ground, Silver and Guard have been rampaged, but they were fighting units they wanted to fight. Unfortunately, they have broken, just as a Fire's Protection does go down once more. Soul Stealer has been popped to counter, and the Fireborn now are not in good territory. Yes, they're dealing fantastic work to Cold One Knights, and they've got, well, they didn't quite have Fast Protection, unfortunately. They're getting Soul Stealer, though, and there is Dark Riders as well. But now a nice focus fire is coming on them from that Bolt Thrower, but it is now wide open for the taking. Dark Riders need to loop up and around here and charge into combat with it, and perhaps even to the same on these Sisters, who are currently having a free reign, pouring in fire. It looks like the Cold One Knights are kind of done for and doomed here. Ilariel the Radiant has taken a bit of damage. Dragon Princes have pinned in the Dark Riders, but unfortunately have broken just as an Earthblood comes down. It's really unfortunate so far from the High Elves. A couple of their spells have come down slightly too late here. Bleak Swords as well as Dread Spears will get cut through by Rangers quite happily, but they are distracting quite a few units, which is nice. And yes, I just saw the attack order from the Cold One Knights pushing through to the unprotected Eagleclaw Boltthrower, which has done some really good work so far. It looks like over here, Dark Rise desperately trying to finish off those Dragon Princes, but taking a hefty amount of damage for the cost. We also have Fireborn chasing away Snatch's Harvesters, as well as more of these Riders, but they should be able to use their added mobility to push and pressure this back line. Sisters of Avalon as well have been engaged in combat with Witch Elves. Rangers are desperately trying to trundle over to help protect them where possible. If these sisters stay online, I think the High Elves are in a good position. If they get shut down, though, it could turn kind of against them a little bit. Good idea, though, from Leopard in the distance here. He's going to be kiting back some Cold One Knights, taking away some of the mobility of the Dark Elves. And yes, they don't do too much damage, but the Cold One Knights are never going to catch them. And at this point, those Cold One Knights are really needed to kind of shut down some of these other troops and do some cycle charging. Although, lovely catch here. Sisters of Avalon have been rampaged here by the Witch Elves. Rangers will be able to clear up the majority of this chaff, but the double character is really doing a big number on these sisters, and they may well be doomed for. In the far distant view there, the Fireborn have managed to catch some of the Dark Riders, but for the most part they should manage to kite back. And Illyrian Reavers as well now are continuing this kite chase. There's a pretty healthy unit of Cold One Knights in the centre pocket, and I think this is now pretty Dark Elf favoured. Once the sisters did take that pounding, and now they are kind of getting recharged by Cold One Knights, even with that Earthblood, they've been broken, and someone with kind of Prussian's good map awareness and late game management, I simply don't think he's going to allow the sisters to rally and come back. He has too many fast mobile units left. And that's one thing Prussian is particularly good at, is kind of managing his skirmish corps. I mean, maybe it's not the worst trade up here, at least he's pushing away the Illyrian Reavers, but over there I think that maybe is a tiny slip up. In the centre pocket, Dread Spears are getting torn down by Rangers up to 101 kills, but it is stopping a lot of the Spearmen from getting into this key engagement. Dragon Princes going for the last ditch challenge here. Star of Avalon is popped, but a Soul Stealer comes in, a fat Soul Stealer as well. Catching all of these units is going to be quite punishing. Fireborn desperately trying to hang on in there. They are punishing the Cold One Knights, having the Master with his bonus versus large, and Malekith as well, just been an all-round good duelist, is going to be able to overwhelm these proud warriors of the Dragon Princes. Noble warriors who once used to ride on the back of dragons, unfortunately have been brought low to ride on horses, and it's certainly kind of making itself visible here that they're not on dragons, they're on horses. Couldn't find the right words. As Illyrian Reaver archers do dart in, finishing off some Dark Riders, which is pretty good. Got pinned in between the two cavalry. Malekith, though, consistently on the hunt, as well as the Master slowly doing some damage. Elves have managed to secure this centre portion, though, and they still have a decent amount of cavalry left. Illyrian Reavers as well, fantastic micro once again. We spoke about Prussian Princes, but Leopard as well. Illyrian Reavers are now chasing down Cold One Knights, as well as Dread Spears, completely shattering them, it seems. Oh no, their banner just switched. Doing some good work there. And this fight is certainly not over yet. A ton of High Elves have kind of rallied to the cause, and Alariel is still pretty healthy as well. The Master and Malekith could prove a challenge too far. And somehow the Fireborn have managed to survive all that has been thrown at them so far, up to 91 kills, and there's still certainly plenty of healing left in the bag from Alariel, with some Earthbloods perhaps to keep them going. They can form a nice little blob themselves. And actually, looking across the board, I may have been mistaken when I said the Dark Elves were in the ascendancy. So it seems like it's going to be their heroes against the world. Illyrian Reavers do loose some of their last salvos here, trying to force off the Dark Riders, who are wavering, but it looks like they are going to be able to escape as Cold One Knights do rally back to the cause, and they are rampaged, unfortunately, which is one of their downsides. Illyrian Reavers look like they considered going in for the charge there, but wisely decided it's a worse idea. Cold One Knights chewing their way through some Reavers on this flank, incredibly low themselves, however. If they do get charged in the rear by some of these other Reavers, perhaps their leadership shall break, and they've actually broken it just before that does indeed happen. And perhaps now double Illyrians will target these last Cold One Knights, and it looks like that is indeed going to be the case. And yeah, these Cold Ones may well be doomed for. High Elves have pushed in now, and slowly through a war of attrition will attempt to drag down these characters. And we do have Silver Guard mixed in here, and Silver Guard kind of mid-tier troops. That bonus versus large, the anti-large, is really going to help against these characters who are both on Cold Ones. And I'd recommend focus firing one of them down, just try and drag down the Master. He's probably a bit more squishy. We are going to see another Soul Stealer come in as well. Such a powerful ability. He's going to be nuking all of this, all these High Elf troops. Sisters have managed to rally, which is also pretty key. 17 of them can do some decent damage. Looks like Dark Riders are going to be forced off by them as well. And Leopard here, showing his fangs and trying to claw his way back. But it looks like the centre portion of the High Elf force is now starting to break. Soul Stealer coming in. He topping up Malekith quite nicely and destroying a lot of the heart of the High Elf peoples. We still do have 62 Silver Guard though, as well as the Fireborn coming lancing in, doing some lovely burst damage on the Master. Both of them trying to focus down the Fireborn where possible, but they're simply going to flee, fall back, and no doubt get healed up at some point. A lot of the High Elf troops that did break have been completely shattered here, but in comes the cavalry. Sisters are willing to shoot their own troops here for any bit of damage they can get on the Master here, who is getting very, very low indeed. Leader Reaver archers as well, no doubt, are going to consistently cycle charge. There is no need for Alara to get anywhere near combat. She just doesn't need to. It looks like Cold War Knights are starting to lurk in the back lines. We're going to have to see if Leopard is paying attention. He needs to will some of his Illyrian Reavers back here to help deal with these threats. But it looks like the Master has been dealt with here. Stand the ground was popped, but he's definitely going to get chased away. Dark Riders and Cold War Knights circle the Sisters in an attempt to finish them off, but looks like one unit has been peeled off to try and help support. They are indeed going to try and take on the Dark Riders in combat, as it looks like that unit of Cold War Knights was shattered there. And yeah, Dark Riders are running now, and it looks like the High Elves may indeed win the Civil War. Never count out Malekith, he's a scary combatant indeed. And the Master is being let go here, down to 25 health. Perhaps he thinks he's not really a threat anymore. Sylvan Guard holding the line and slowly poking it down Malekith. You can see him completely surrounded by a wall of shields and spears. Every High Elf eager to get a lick in on the mighty Malekith. A dreaded foe indeed for the High Elves, kind of been a famous enemy from them for years. Leader Reaver archers once again come back in for a cycle. Dark Riders consistently not forced off here, but Sisters are simply going to run away and into combat, it would seem. Looks like we have some rallying troops. Oh no, Laro actually went and smited that Master, and it looks like army losses is setting in. And I think for the second semi-final in a row, guys, we're probably going to be going here the distance, and again all 3 games. Malekith going strong, slowly taking out spearmen and rangers, but he's just not going to be able to deal with the might of the Sylvan Guard, and army losses is close as well. You can see his leadership minus 87 is not a good sign, as army losses is about to set in. Earthblood is popped as well. Fantastic game by Leopard there. That was some crazy stuff. At one point, when he managed to pop in the back line, shut down the Sisters, shut down the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, I thought that it was in the bag for Prussian Prince, but Leopard coming through with a good Illyrian Reaver archer play, fantastic Fireborn work as well to seal victory. So we're going to be going all the way. GG. Fantastic stuff. So we are now on to Schorsterhafen. There we go. So Leopard to pick 3 and ban 1. Let's update the score before I forget, and then I will come and chill out of all of you lovely people. So, score number 2 is from Leopard, and it is 1-all. Very impressive stuff. Looks like I've got a ton of messages on Discord. Hopefully, no questions. Oh, Legion, hell yeah, are those the ducks you have? That is some really funny stuff. So I've just been sent a list of rubber ducks from Legion, which is real fun. 1 second, please. No worries. Obviously going to be deciding his stuff. GG's, man. That was really awesome. Oh, hell yeah. We've breached the 100 mark. Yes, we have gained many a duck. This is what happens when we have Death Before Dishonour and the stream doesn't crash or the internet doesn't cut out. Which has been really sad the last few bits. It's great to share with all of you guys this time. Let's go, Leo, says Ronan. So I jinxed it. Yeah, man, that was the commentator curse, which is whenever you say something, the opposite does indeed happen. But that was pretty close, pretty down to the wire, back and forth, kind of swinging. Lorenzo, how's it going, my dude? Hope you're all good. Love to see you back, as well as Kelgar Iron Fist, one of the coolest named people in stream today. I think I actually was chatting out of you in a Darv stream maybe recently. Who knows? Definitely chatted with you somewhere recently. Tilia is here. Yeah, man, Tilia is great, man. They always rally to my cause. I always get someone pop up and go, Tilia has arrived. Yeah, congratulations, man. That was a crazy game indeed. So we have the RTK clan backing up Prussian Prince and the Italians backing up Leopard here, making a very impressive debut on the channel. Schorsterhafen, quite a large open map, and it'd be interesting to see which factions these guys do go. As I said previously, we've had Prussian Prince on quite a few times, fantastic competitor and content creator himself, but Leopard is the kind of wild card, where we don't know what he means. Well, 2 Italians in the semi-finals encourages Italian viewership. That is true, Aldmeldo. That is true indeed. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying, feel free to give it smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new. And if you do want to support the channel in any other ways, there are links to kind of my Discord and Patreon and all that kind of stuff in the description if you need it. What's up, Goose? Or Geese Howard, I should say. A.K.A. Peterborough. How you doing, man? We unfortunately haven't had any Beastmen on display today. What's up, Grizzler TV as well? Look how they massacred my boy. The real name of Karl Franz is Mario. Yeah, Malekith can be brutal in the Raptor. Malekith in general is pretty brutal, I think. I think he's a very good lord. Maybe not quite, you know, like... I know people like to make tier lists and stuff. I haven't made any personally. I don't know if I ever will. Because there's certain factions I don't know too much about. I mean, I could always enlist people to help, I suppose. But again, that's not sure if I'm something people would enjoy my channel, because there's already a lot of kind of big YouTubers who've done those type of lists before. But he's quite high up there. Yeah, no Beastmen, man. It's sad. It's some sad stuff indeed. No Beastmen in a competitive finals is not a competitive finals, in my humble opinion. But there's still time. We may see them yet. I don't know if these guys do indeed bring the Beastmen to the 4th. Valkylos, I don't think, plays Beastmen, but you never know. If you ask him nice enough, maybe he'll bring some. Yeah, Malekith on his wheels, on the, oh, what's it called? The cold one, like a limo. Oh, what do people call it? Like the Raptor limo or something? Yeah, he's pretty powerful then. It depends on the matchup, where you want to take him, really. But yeah, on any of his mounts, I think he's pretty competitive and pretty good. Just going to have another little sip of my drink to keep me alive. It's going to be a pretty long stream, I think. The whole tournament in general had more people than ever. We had 39 people competing, so these guys have been fighting since 4, which is real crazy. So massive shout out to them and their stamina to keep going. But it was a bit of a slow tournament. I think we had a few, like, slowdowns in the early rounds, which kind of, you know, dragged it out a little bit. But it looks like the stream's going to be nice long and getting as many games as possible. Which is good, because I think in the last few DBDs it's kind of been like 2-0, 2-0 semi-finals and then 3-0 finals, but we've broken the curse. I played Beastmen in one of the earlier rounds, says Papa Palpatine, but I barely lost against Prussian Princess Greenskins. Yeah, I think you had a real close affair with him. I think you guys would be pretty evenly matched. Don't know if you gave him the Chaos Hammer as well, or if you didn't get the chance. So Leopard is picking Bretonia. Rejoice, the peasantry of Bretonia. Your knights will ride forth. He picks Bretonia. Oh, I always forget it's the 3. He picks Bretonia, Dark Elves, and Chaos. Bans Vampirates. So now Prussian Prince will ban one of these and pick himself. So maybe we'll get some Chaos in action, which would be some good fun. Or Bretonia. I've already seen Dark Elves. I'm not so fussed by them, but we'll have to see who Prussian Prince does pick. I think he's a high elf main, I think. But I think I've always to see him play Bretonia. It'd be interesting to see what he does take. I barely won that much up to PP, but I always get dumpsters by his Brett. Yeah, his Bretonians could be hard. So maybe we'll see them, maybe we won't. No Vampires guaranteed, yes! Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Vampires. I don't mind them being here. Oh, banning Warriors of Chaos. No, I thought I was going to pick Warriors of Chaos. So banning Warriors of Chaos, picking Bretonia. So either going to see some Dark Elves or Bretonia mirror match here. Which is something you do. Sometimes this can backfire. You want to force your opponent to play one, so you pick one of the factions they have picked. And I did it to someone the other day. I had Dowie, and I banned one of their factions. I think they had Vampirates left, so I picked Dowie myself, which is a lovely counter to them. Wanted them to pick into them, and instead they picked me with a Dowie mirror. But it turned into a really awesome game, so... If you aren't banning Vampirates, every chance you get, you are doing it right. Guarka coming in with his disdain of the Vampirates. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. I don't actually play them. I feel like I should to do good in tournaments, but you know. They did nothing wrong, no. They themselves haven't done anything wrong. They're really quite cool and thematic, honestly, all around. It's just, you know, people don't like facing that style of play. A lot of people don't like facing dwarfs, but I love dwarfs. I don't mind facing them. It's a tough grind, but people don't like facing real defensive builds. I'm hoping for a Brett mirror. I'm praying. I hope that's what we're going to get. Just one side, like, full knights in shining armour, and the other side just peasants and foot troops. There's like a big, like, Bretonia rebellion. I mean, you can technically go Dark Elves. Oh, here we go. Love it. We're going to see a Bretonia Uprising. Yeah, Dark Elf Brett isn't particularly great, unfortunately, for the Dark Elves. I don't think it's like the worst matchup in the game. Which might, actually, that's a good question for you guys. What do you think is the worst matchup in the game? I think it's probably Wood Elves Dwarfs, I want to say off the top of my head. Like, if both players are evenly matched, I have no idea how Wood Elves win that matchup. None. Like, you have Wildwood Rangers, but they're very squishy as well, and just... yeah, that's all you got, really. Like, I think it's nigh on impossible. I like playing Dwarfs, yeah, I agree, Palpatine. I think Dwarfs are actually pretty fun. But... High Elves Dowie can be rough for the Dowie. Dowie Skaven, yeah. There's also the classic Wood Elf Bretonia, which is pretty rough. Lizardmen Vampire Coast is horrific for the Lizardmen. That's terrible. Beastmen Lizardmen is pretty rough as well for the Beastmen. Did I update the scoreboard? I feel like I did. Yeah, High Elves Dwarfs is rough. Yeah, Vampires into Dwarfs is rough. Like, the Dwarfs they're just going to outshoot you. It's all they're going to do. And there's, like, nothing you can do about it. You can go Crab Rush, and their guns are still good against you, so it's not fun. Yeah, Beastman Vampire counts. There's a few. Yeah, Malva, the Vampire Mirror match. We actually had a really cool Vampire Mirror match on the channel, though, between Geese Howard and someone. I thought it was going to be terrible, but it was actually really awesome. Also got my housemates screaming in the background, hopefully you can't hear. What's up? Love the channel. Love to have you here, McLovin. Is that based off McLovin from, is it Superbad? Way back in the day. Yeah, we had a Vampire Mirror, but like one of them went to like outshoot the other, and the other one for like a big rush with Mongols and stuff, so it kind of ended up being quite fun. Probably Dowie Empire and Dowie Skaven. Yeah, Empire struggle against Dowie. I think the way to do it is just mass cav. Car zombies only, kiting allowed. Legion, don't make me ban you. I don't want to have you put evil thoughts into the minds of my players. Oh hell yeah, Carronade RNG fight. I mean, I came up against someone recently in a Dowie matchup, and that's what they said to me, like, oh man, it's just going to be whoever shoots whoever's cannons first. I brought no cannons. I instead brought Giant Slayers, because Giant Slayers are amazing in the Dowie matchup, and anyone who argues against me can fight me over an ale of Bugmans. They're fast, they don't take too much damage from shooting because they're a little bit more spread out, and they have enough AP to still do decent damage, and you just use them as Dowie cavalry. Which is one of the only matchups you can do that in, but still. This is my second account, so from the time I'm free to troll. Your channel involves no trolling. Love the Total War Warhammer content. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Glad to have you here, man, and supporting. Yeah, Dowie get a lot of the best and worst matchups for sure. That's why I get so many people comment saying like, "Oh, Dowie OP" or "Dowie underpowered." It's kind of funny. Reading the player survey results, it's Dowie versus High Elves at 1.51. Oh, trust me, Viking. Trust me. Go back and check out the dwarf video I did on Giant Slayers. It's like the one matchup that I back them. I'm not saying they're a good unit, but I'm saying against enemy dwarfs, they are so good. Because they're fast. Other dwarf units can't even pin them down. Like, they manage to push through them, and you just destroy the enemy thunderers and gun lines and stuff. Anyway, enough talk. Let's hop in here in this ultimate showdown between these two gents to see who will book their spot in today's qualifier final up against Valkanos. I'm sure they're patiently waiting in the wings. We have triple field trebuchet coming in for the forces of Bretonia, and Prussian Princess Bretonia, I should say. Peasant mobs and a ton of spearmen at arms in the front line. Cheap, cheerful, there to hold the line and do anti-large damage to enemy cavalry. We have some peasant bowmen as well, not too many swaths of them. Looks like double pox arrows. Then we have a Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights. Grail Knights, of course, being the anti-large variety, which is certainly going to help up against someone who's known to bring cavalry. And a Knights of the Realm anti... Oh, wait. Are you guys anti-large as well? If I... yeah, anti-large, anti-large, anti-large. Cool, they are all anti-large. I was thinking of something completely different there. There's a little brain fart. I'm taking a defensive position up on the high ground here in this hill. Of course, we do have a hero blob, which is the Bretonnian Way. Double Paladin on horseback, as well as the Fey Enchantress, Shield of Thorns, and Earthblood. And Paladin's going to be good here with their anti-large. And it looks like across the board, we're not going to have a defensive approach coming in. So a bit more aggressive force here by the force of Leopard. And it looks like, oh, how can you not root for this man? Rohan has answered the call of Bretonnia, coming in with Knights of the Realm dotted along the front line, of course the anti-large units, and then Grail Guardians and Grail Knights dotted around the secondary formation. We even have the Regiment of Renowned Quest Knights as well, with their very awesome colour scheme. So Leopard is going to be the red Bretonnians there. Up in the skies we have a Paladin on a flying Pegasus, flying high up in the air. We also have a Paladin low down on the ground, as well as the Fey Enchantress, coming with Shield of Thorns, Earthblood, Chalice of Potions, and Arcane Conduit. I do fear for this build a little bit, but you've got to back Leopard here. Look at this. Look at the amazingness. Oh, it brings a tear to my heart and to my eye. King of Theoden is the best character in Lord of the Rings, and there's no debate there. It is true. King of Theoden is my favourite character, and got to root for the Cav. Grail Guardians are just chaff that doesn't die. I love it. Don't really get the single flying pally, but yeah, true. I know, gives them a little bit of action mobility, I suppose. As those trebuchets do launch now. Every trebuchet hit is obviously going to kill some knights. That's going to be some pretty good value. There is no kind of range to attack, however, so if they can successfully juke, which is going to be tough with so many trebuchets, it may be a little rough. There's a decent enough gap there on the flanks, and it is going to be an uphill fight, unfortunately. That's what you get for not bringing, the pieces to kind of drag these Bretons out of position. However, the archers and stuff could easily get overwhelmed here if all these knights can push through, but there is going to be decent amount of shot blockers in the way with so many cavalry coming in from Prussian Prince. Artillery continues to rain and completely missing all of its targets so far. Looks like actually maybe clip some of the Grail Knights on this flank. Peasants do charge forward, but like any good Bretonnian knows, Knights Errant will run over peasants at any given opportunity, and then get countercharged there, it seems, by Knights of the Realm, Fey Enchantress, and Double Paladin. Prussian Prince thrown a lot of value here into this central pocket, and it looks like Leopard is going to retaliate as well, getting a lovely rear charge almost, kind of wrapping up and around where possible. Spearmen at arms will be able to push in though, saturate on top, and do some decent damage. Over on this flank, it looks like one of the Paladins has been caught out by Grail Knights, but we'll be getting some assistance soon. Knights of the Realm darting uphill, but this uphill fight is going to be a bit rough. Peasants desperately trying to hold back the companions to allow their buddies to do the work. They have now broken, going to allow the companions to continue to wheel about and push in. And it looks like some of the knights are starting to fall back from those initial engagements. Leopard is overrunning this flank as well, as Knights Errant hold back Knights of the Realm, allowing some more. Looks like they might 2v1 them, or perhaps try to push back on top of the field trebuchets, who indeed knows. A load of units breaking on both sides, as a Chalice of Potions does bomb in, doing pretty big damage to some Grail Knights down on this flank. In the main centre pocket, it looks like both forces are taking heavy losses, but it seems Prussian Prince is getting the slight better of the engagements, as some of those Leopards, Grail Knights are pretty much done with at this point, despite getting some nice surrounds. Although at the same time, Grail Knights and Prussian Prince have been hit pretty hard. We are, of course, going to see some Earthbloods, we'll no doubt see by both of these players. Leopard's Fey Enchantress here, though, is in a real kind of bad situation. Surrounded by the enemy one and Double Paladin, she needs to escape this. She does have the overcast Earthblood, but she needs to fall back. This is a disaster there for the red Fey Enchantress. She needs to pull back and allow her knights to kind of win the rest of the mobile games. Over on this flank, Prussian Princes, looks like he's managed to finish off some Knights Errant, but slowly getting dragged down by Grail Guardians as well. It looks like they've been bogged down by Spearmen at arms, and the slightly more balanced build certainly coming in to its own here. As now poison arrows are being rained in and help swing the tide, as trebuchets as well point blank unleash shots, although the companions of Quernel have had enough of these filthy peasants. They're going to be driving through them, cutting them up as they do whip out their little hatchets and mallets in a failed attempt to fight back, really. Grail Knights have been forced back, and it looks like Fey Enchantress, has she completely gone down here? I don't know yet, don't see her fighting, so she probably unfortunately has been slaughtered, and without the magic help, I think Leopard is certainly doomed. Balance of Power as well is pushing forward for a rather dominant Prussian Prince victory, and yeah, the trebuchets basically paid for their weight in gold simply by forcing Leopard to attack uphill. They didn't really need to get kills to kind of pay for themselves, really, allowing his knights to trade more effectively and comfortably up against Leopards. But still, 7, 21 and 5 kills up against full knights is certainly not too bad, and certainly no slouch. But well played to Leopard, a true champ throughout the whole series overall, and definitely welcome him back at some point in the future. GG's. Wait here for Valko. So we are going to have an RTK final, guys. Apparently peasants over knights. It's been confirmed here on the channel, guys. It can't be denied any longer. The peasants have won their independence. Oh, what a champ. Valkynos is clearly waiting straight in. Yo! RTK finals. Awesome. So I'll quickly change the scoreboard. So Valkynos is going to be picking and banning first. And let's change the scores. Change that back to a 0. And this one as well, which did actually briefly, boom, go up to 2, but is now back down to 0. And let's change Leopard's name. A true champion making his debut on the channel with some really good games going all the way there in that best of 3. And that is going to be replaced by the legendary Valkynos. As I said before, guys, both of these guys are top quality content creators as well. Feel free to check out their channels after the stream. And I'll try and drop some links in as well when this video does go live. So move the scoreboard down a little bit. Let's Valko know. Valko to pick and ban first. It is best of 5. Maps are... So the maps are going to be Pillar of Bone, Northern Chaos Wastes, Alpine Ridge, Gal Baraz, and Oaken Hammer. Cool. So sorry for ignoring you guys, but I'm just sorting all the admin-y stuff, and I'll be back chilling with you boys in just a second. And we'll let them decide. Yeah, GG to Leopard. Yeah, definitely, man, Lorenzo. Definitely. Yes, there is a challenge page for this Iron Fist. Hopefully one of the admins, if there is any, if there are any of the lads in there, if they could link you, that'd be perfect. If not, I'll be able to send one through in a sec anyway. And you'll be able to see, like, you know, everyone who played and stuff. So those who don't know or are new to the tournament scene, a challenge is the website we basically kind of use to organise all events and tournaments. I have recommended to CA that they implement such a system into the multiplayer just options, which I don't think would be too hard to do. And I think they could do some really fun stuff as well, where you could like queue to join a tournament, which happens on so many games. And you know, once you've got 8 players in, it just starts, and you just kind of, you know, you just go. Like, even if it's just like best of 1 tournaments and stuff, I think could be really fun and a good rewarding way as well to keep players in multiplayer. Because I think ladder at the moment's a bit, you know, a bit dead, unfortunately. And obviously, there is the problem of making it balanced, but I'm sure there's stuff they can do. Unit caps on. Oh no, boop. Just realised. No, I've taken off. It's just banner rules. Cool, so it looks like Prussian... Oh no, Valkynos picks Norska, banning vampires and greenskins, and Prussia Prince is going Lizardmen. A much disputed matchup. Lizardmen mains say it's Lizardmen favoured, Norscan mains say it's Norscan favoured, so it's probably somewhere in the middle. Like, honestly. What's up, J Phoenix? RTK final indeed. Massey as well. I don't know if you're a new face or if you've been around before, but welcome, welcome. Prussian Prince didn't go all cav, that was a Leopard. I'm a little upset he didn't go all cav. A Rohan showdown would have been awesome. Yeah, it's a good like indication of being even. Now, one trap I think people fall into is they bring a Frog in this matchup, which I think is a death wish, realistically. Well, it depends. Sometimes Frog can do good. He can take down some big monsters. I know a lot of like seasoned players do recommend him, but in my humble opinion, if you get something like the Umbral Tide or Krokgar, they will destroy Frog in seconds. The lovely technique you do of you whack Frog with like a pistol with solar engine, he charges forward all blindly, hit him with the Umbral Tide, and then you just hand out the God's Zone, and he's just gone. And Norscans without leadership is no Norscan warband at all. So I can have a little sip as we do settle down for a best of 5, guys. Should be some good fun. The climactic end to what has been an absolute trial for these lads. It's now 9:30 here. Jeez, these guys have been fighting for 5.5 hours. You see, but Palpatine, I'm Norscan player, and I think it's Norscan favoured. I think it's a little bit build roulette, personally, as well. I got taken out the other day because they brought like 5 javelins or something, but if you just bring pterodons and the javelins are a bit wet noodle because their firing arc to get flying units is actually pretty poor, unfortunately, for them. The Lost Slan. Yeah, Guac, you were so on point. Both sides brag about having it figured out, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the Great Weapon Champs are obviously good up against the Temple Guard, but again, it's still build roulette. If they don't go Temple Guard Doombox, then you can often get picked apart and they don't really make their value. So it depends. But I can see that working quite well a lot of the time, because a lot of people do love that bonus Time Warp Temple Guard Doombox. But you do have to time your engagements carefully still, even with the champions there. You don't want to be getting caught in that Time Warp. You want to fall back when that pops, which is one of the weaknesses of that type of build, is not being able to pick your engagements because Temple Guard are relatively slow. So when they get juiced up, just simply fall back and wait for it to wear off. Which is easier said than done, of course. Valkanos is ready. Prussian Prince is ready as well. So let's hop in here. Yeah, personally, I find it easier with Lizardmen, but I am a far better Lizardman player than I am Norscan player, so, you know, that's kind of be to expected. Just joined, and fingers crossed for Gorok. Hell yeah, man. That'd be awesome. Apex Sheep, welcome, by the way. You've just arrived in time for the finals. So we've had 2 very hotly contested semi-finals, both going all the way in 2-1 series. But Prussian Prince has emerged victorious on one side. And he is... was he in charge of the Lizardmen? Yeah, I think so. And then Valkanos was victorious on the other side with the forces of Norska. GG Leo, by the way. Yeah, man, Leo was a beast. Hopefully we have him back in future tournaments. I think this is the first one he took part in for us. And so he did good work. So, coming in for the forces here of Prussian Prince. I already absolutely adore one of the picks he's brought, which you don't get to see terribly often. So, let's go for his build. He's taking the high ground here. He does have the cohort of Sotek, as well as triple Temple Guard, which is a pretty standard stuff there, including the Bastiladon with Solar Engine. But something we don't see terribly often is the Bastiladon with Revivification Crystal. I used to bring this guy all the time when I first got into the game. He does have that lovely heal. Now, one problem I find with him, he actually has 7 cards of this. He almost never gets to use them all because he'll either break or the battle will be over, because it's a relatively long cooldown time. But taking a nice defensive approach here on the high ground. Secondary line is Skink cohort with Javelins, which is another good unit in this matchup. Marauders have very low armor indeed. In the centre pocket, we have a Feral Carnosaur guarding both of these lovely Bastiladons, as well as the Slan Mage Priest. And yes, this is legal. Slan Mage Priest don't count towards the single entity monster count, I don't believe. Just these free ones do. And the Slan Mage Priest is of light, of course, kind of bonus Time Warp, Net, and Files of Protection, as well as Aura of Quetzal and Shield of the Old Ones. And we've seen Prussian Prince can kind of do these defensive boxish builds very well, but also his skirmish play is good. So he kind of is combining the 2 here with double pterodons up in the skies, which can put good pressure on Marauder Hunter Javelins. Now for the forces of Valkanos here, we have a lovely skirmish core, double Warhounds, as well as some Marauder Horsemasters, which they're going to be protecting with their lives, no doubt. Front line is Marauder Champions, which is good to see. I would have preferred the Great Weapon variety, like Papa Palpatine suggested, but still, these guys can do some decent work and help chew through the lines. Marauders are going to be dotted on the flanks. We have 3 units of Marauder Hunter Javelins as well, and no doubt a Plague of Rust Metalcaster. Yep, Plague of Rust and Final Transmutation. You overcast Plague of Rust on a Dinosaur or on some Temple Guard, and then you whack them with the Hunter Javelins. Good thing you can do as a Lizardman player, though, is bait that out. Once they've popped it is when you pop your Shield of the Old Ones and all that good stuff. We have Wolfric, of course, coming with all his buffs and good stuff. No Sword of Torgild, but apart from that, you know, coming with the boat, stand or die, Hunter Champions, and all the competitive stuff at least. And hidden in the trees, we do have some Famir Warriors with great weapons as well. I don't know if they're trying to hide or if they've been forgotten about there. And that'd be a big blow if he doesn't remember those guys, as they'd be do pretty good up against some of the big dinos. Looks like, yeah, Lizardmen quite happy to skirmish, and their forces just take the high ground here, which is completely fine for them. The Warhounds are getting a little pitter-patter on them from the Pterodon Riders, which, yeah, again, is damage, I suppose, at the end of the day, although it's not some key targets. Shaman Sorcerer of Metal has taken a fat shot to the face there. Looked like it clipped the Marauder Champions as well, doing some really good damage on them. Was that a rock drop? Let's see. No, these guys still have their little rocks under their feet. They were attacking these Familiar Warriors. It looks like they may have been forgotten, which could be a bit of a disaster, but we'll call it Deep Line Reserves for now. They still have the pace to catch up anyway. So the rest of the forces pushing forwards. It's going to be interesting to see who that Bastiladon is focusing down. And it looks like going after the Javelins or the Metal Cast. I'm not sure, but both types it's shot so far. It's clipped multiple units, which is very good for it. And it has a really cool ability a lot of people don't know about, or I feel like they don't, which is Blind. Only 10 seconds, but is a massive debuff to accuracy, attack, and defense. Really helps your monsters win that big duel and throw off some of the Javelin accuracy as well to limit the amount of damage intake or damage output they can do. Pterodon Riders are going to be key here. They're going to need to focus down the Hunter Javelins where possible, rock drop them and the like as well. Solar Engine once again comes in and whacks those Javelins, trying to get them off the field as quickly as possible. Temple Guard holding the line firm here at the base of this hill, and you see the Javelins just waiting to throw those Javelins. They've got them prepped, and actually if they can get in range of the Hunters, that'd be a really nice target as well. We're going to see a fat banishment come down here, going to clip some of the Javelins as well as Champions, which is a lovely cast. It is wheeling slightly away, but no, comes back again. Glorious damage coming in. Looks like the Gary with the Solar Engine is being focused by one unit and the Rev Crystal by another. But it's simply going to fall back behind the trees here and hide, which is some good defensive deployment coming in from the Lizardmen. In the back lines, Pterodon Riders are just saying hello to the Norscan Warhounds, nothing too special there. It looks like Red-Crested Skinks are going to charge in to stop the charge of the Marauder Champions, and then allow the Temple Guard to turn back around and charge in. We've seen Prussian Prince do that little trick in 2 games now, and it's really paid off quite nicely for him. We do have a final transmutation upgraded here in this pocket, which is doing massive damage to the Bastiladons and all of these troops. Looks like it even caught some of the Temple Guard as well. Wulfric is now trying to focus them down, and Baroness Time Warp has been popped, but it's not on any of the Temple Guard, which is really unfortunate for the Lizardmen here. Only on the Bastiladons, who really can't take advantage of it. Wulfric trying to hammer home, but it looks like Feral Carnosaur did catch that Time Warp and has been going in for a bit of a duel, as the dinosaurs do all start to reign over. Hunters are now free to fire. Over on the flanks, the Skinks are being sacrificed to the Marauder Gods to hold them in place, and Temple Guard are dueling Marauder Champions here. Looks like Javelin support is going in. It looks like the Shaman Sorcerer Mel is relatively fine, and those Samir have finally been remembered, but it could be a tad too late. It looks like he is trying to drag back this Feral Carnosaur and ignore the Baroness Time Warp as much as possible, but it's easier said than done, especially with nets in play and all that pesky stuff. And a load of those darts are now being thrown into Wulfric, taking huge damage, down to about half health, but he's going to turn to engage into the Rev Crystal once more. I did hear its buff go off at one point, but I'm not sure who it is indeed healed. Marauders are now forcing their way into the back line, hunting down cohorts, who are simply going to reform ranks though. And it looks like the Warhounds as well are going to be jumping on that Slann, who's taken a bit of a beating. Definitely doesn't want to lose the Slann here. That would be a fantastic way for the Norsca to get back in the game, because apart from that, I think they're slightly on the back foot, but they have managed to expertly drag this Carnosaur out of position. Cold-Blooded needs to go down on him now, as he's currently rampaging straight into some Familiar with great weapons, as well as a load of Hunter Javelins. And this is a bit of a disaster for the Carnosaur, as he's needed in this back line to protect these Bastiladons from units such as Wulfric and Thamir. However, it's still getting pretty decent damage. It is targeting his key targets, which is Wulfric. It looks like the Lizardmen know this, and they're going to be darting forward here, trying to aid their Carnosaur, but a little bit too little too late. Maybe with a little heal, though, from that Rev Crystal, he'll come back. But Wulfric certainly shown who is the apex predator on this battlefield. Another banishment is going down, strategically targeting the Horse Masters here, doing some pretty decent work. They're going to be able to dodge for the most part. We do get a boat coming down the line, helping to finish off these Temple Guard who are struggling up against the Champions, although getting more kills. Pterodon Riders as well are pretty much done for at this point. Slann Mage Priest is having to float into the front lines, which is another good sign. Wulfric as well, down to 1,400 health, which is still okay, but for him is pretty low, and he needs to be careful. If that Solar Engine continues to fire into him, he could be finished off rather quickly. Looks like the Gary with the Rev Crystal is going to be pushing into the Hunter Javelins, who have run out of ammunition, which means they've done good damage at least, but is also worrying because, they're now just basic Marauders. There's still an incredibly healthy unit of Temple Guard heroes, overextended slightly, but it's going to be following back to the Familiar Warriors. And 2 Temple Guard units not looking too shabby. The other one has been pretty much dealt with. A net has been popped on Wulfric to allow the Bastildon with Rev Crystal to hunt him down. Shield of the Old Ones popped as well. It's going to be aiding him. Unfortunately, the Solar Engine consistently is hitting this tree. He really hates it, but it is not doing any damage to Wulfric, which could actually turn the tide here, because that blinding effect isn't going down, which isn't going to help the Bastildon, although Fast Protection has been added, and Wulfric down to 1,200 health. Not looking too shabby, honestly, and Slant Mage Priest has kind of got into a bad situation here. If there was 100 champions left, this Slant Mage Priest is going to be in all kinds of trouble, and all of a sudden, I think, honestly, this Bastildon hitting the tree over and over again is huge. Because the Norscans are way back into this game now, still running low on ammunition on their remaining units. Looks like the Rev Crystal is pretty much done for. Brynus Tomahawk trying to keep it alive and active, but the tactical deep reserve of the Familiar Warriors coming in the late game is really helping out here. And the Temple Guard haven't been allowed to kind of bunch up and become a solid unit again. Are kind of getting darted all over and slowly picked apart. Pterodon Riders doing consistent damage onto Wulfric is going to help, though, keep his leadership low and all that good stuff. And good play by Valkanos, going to be taking these Norscan Warhounds and finishing off the Rev Crystal. You certainly do not want it coming back to the field. If it just heals anything, it'll be worth it for the Lizardmen. Heal up the Slan, heal up the Temple Guard, and these Temple Guard need to babysit the Slant where possible now. But it looks like Wulfric, getting too low on health, is actually going to start to retreat from the battlefield. These skink cohorts of javelins want to get close enough to Kobe some of the javelins over, but it looks like the pesky Warhounds have hopped on top of them. Lovely rear attack, going to be routing them off the field. Temple Guard going strong, though, have cleaned up some javelins for the most part, and this is now starting to look once again a bit bleak for the force of Norscor. However, that Slan Mage Priest living life dangerously here. 700 health is all that remains. Solar Engine is going to get a final shot into Wulfric, and it does connect. He's out of ammunition now, and if he had that ammunition the entire time, instead of going to the trees, Wulfric would be dead by now. We do have a final transmutation catching the Temple Guard cohort, and oh no! Don't do this! The Slan wiggles his way into the final transmutation, and he suicides himself into the cast there. Oh no! And he has indeed gone down, which does make the game a bit more even. I still think the Norscans are going to struggle too much to deal with the last unit of Temple Guard, which has 48 models and this one of 60. But that did nearly turn the game back on its head there. Lovely cast coming in by that Shaman Sorcerer who does cackle. And Wulfric has rallied, guys. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back to the main fight in time. Looks like we do have a Plague of Rust coming down on the Temple Guard as well. Going to allow these Marauders to do a bit more damage to them. Still, though, rocking 55 armor isn't too terrible. We do have some more Marauders coming in as well to get a lovely charge. Wulfric just hanging out on the peripheries here. Mortal Horse Masters do charge into the Gary Solar Engine, but he'll be able to fight back quite tastily, especially with Temple Guard support. So the Horse Masters quickly decide, you know what, we're not about this life. We're going to flee in. Good targeting priority here as well by the Norscan, isolating troops and trying to hammer them home. He cannot allow these Temple Guards to stack together. Oh no, what happened here? Somehow the Warhounds, maybe looks like they were forced off by the Pterodon Riders, have allowed the Rev Crystal to come back, who's now going to be healing up the Bastildon with Solar Engine, and that is also pretty bleak, having such a heavily armoured dino back on the field. Yeah, it looks like these Norscan Warhounds were broken off by good Pterodon Rider play. And the Lizardmen looking to scream victorious. Bounce Power still dead even after nearly 10 minutes of gameplay. No, it means you've had a fantastic game. Temple Guard may be a better idea actually to heal up these guys, but despite that they're still holding strong anyway and chewing through all the Marauder units at this point. Wulfric is slowly coming back to the fray. A lot of his troops are consistently breaking now and will soon start to shatter. Familiar Warriors with great weapons are coming over to help deal with the Bastildon Rev Crystal, although it is shooting its little javelins in as well, peppering down at the Familiar Warriors where possible and poisoning them, which is pretty funny. And yeah, Temple Guard do manage to break that centre pocket. And it looks like some Pterodons are floating over now as well. And this is the problem. Anytime some of the Norscan forces get too near, they're just getting broken and forced off. And it looks like that is going to be game to the Lizardmen, as it is simply the Shaman standing and withdraw from Valkanos. Crazy game. That was awesome. That was awesome. That's what I mean. I think it's a close matchup. It could certainly have gone either way there. Fantastic work by both these players. Temple Guard, such a cool thematic unit, getting some good kills. Very scary stuff, though. The Leroy Jenkins Slan. It's like, oh, I'll take the damage. I can do it. But unfortunately killed himself. And that Bastillon as well, flying to the tree for a while. Did allow Warfare to survive a little while longer, but lovely build composition and good defensive deployment. As for Valkynos as well, really lovely effort. Nearly managed to pull it off at the end there with some real clutch plays, and his Shaman Sorcerer is a real MVP for him for sure. GG. Very close. So up next, guys, we are going to be on the Northern Chaos Wastes. And I'll remember to update the scoreboard. So that is a 1-0 to the mighty Prussian Prince so far. But if this tournament has taught us anything, that means very little at the end of the day. So I'm going to pop that up. And we are away. What did you guys think of that? Ugh. Needed more great weapons. Yeah, I agree. I think the great weapon variety would have done better there. Lizardmen strong, indeed. Oh, Optimus Pine. Optimus Pine. That solar engine must be executed for high treason. I love it. I love it. Oh. Is Gary a reference to the show Dinosaurs? Not by me. I don't know why I call them Gary. I feel like someone did it in the past and it just caught on. Indeed. Hey, what's that shiny light? It was part of the great plan. It was fine. Yeah, that's suicide. It was funny. It was funny, but it didn't matter in the end, luckily for him. Fine. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, the Lizardmen probably could have kept it a little higher and tighter, but they darted out to try and save the Carnosaur, I think, and unfortunately couldn't manage to do that in the end, but they still managed to get victory. Prussian Prince is going to be going green skins now, which you've seen him play them very well so far. Again, with that kind of skirmish elements to his build, and then a real tough core. Looks like Valkynos is going to be going Tomb Kings, and I believe we saw him win this earlier, didn't we? Tomb Kings into greenskins, if I'm not mistaken. Agony Achilles, how you doing, bud? Yes, lots of GGs, GG indeed. It was certainly part of the plan. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this this season, or this tournament today. It is a best of 5, so have no fear. We have at least 2 more battles, and probably a lot more to boot as well. If you're enjoying, feel free to show some love by hitting that thumbs up button, and subscribing if you haven't already, and telling all your friends and family about us. Because trust me, I'm a ducks in general are a popular hit with beloved family members. But how long have we been rolling for now? Probably about 2 hours-ish? 7? Yeah, about like, what, 2.5 hours maybe? So we're making some pretty good time. Hopefully this goes all the way. I mean, we've seen some fantastic games. I don't want this to be like a 3-0, and judging by that first game, every battle is going to be right on a knife's edge. I hope it goes all the way to a final game. Let these boys pick their builds. Gonna have another little sip. My voice is starting to feel the burn now. So we may, depending on my voice actually, we may have a small stream tomorrow. Because there definitely won't be one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if I have to go back in Thursday. So definitely not Tuesday, Wednesday, because I'll be going to and fro from here to hospital and getting stuff like redressed and all that nasty stuff. So there won't be any streams then, but I've already pre-recorded some content for you guys. And for those who don't know as well, if you want to see your videos or your replays up on the channel, you can submit them to my Discord. There's a link down below. I can't get to every replay, unfortunately. I do try to get as many a mix of players as possible, because I just get sent quite a few, and I like to put up replays of myself playing as well. But if you consistently send ones in, you will get stuff up on the channel eventually. Going Agony Achilles there, having little words. Looks like Valkynos is ready to rock and rumble. Wait for Prussian Prince's mark, and then we'll hop in and get the action underway. Having another little sip of a drink. I wonder why I've got so many more people today. Maybe it's just because, I don't know if you guys have been sent by anyone, or if it's just because we actually managed to finally get a Death Before Dishonor up and running without a ton of internet issues. I don't know why it's so cursed on them as well. All our other streams tend to be fine, but it's been a really good tournament. So many good players. We've had upsets, we've had underdog stories, And we've had a ton of RTK, and here they come again. The two clanmates for the ultimate showdown. Oh, that is a cool emoji. The little cat in the box. I need to get some duck emojis. I think you can use my logos and emoji if you're a member, I think, but I'm not sure how that works. I'm a bit noobish when it comes to all the technical side of everything, I'm afraid. And here we go. So, for the forces of the Greenskins and the Prussian Prince in the ascendancy here, once again, we are going to see Grom the Paunch. Seems like to be a bit of a fan favourite for him. I think him and Snarstic in general are too very good. I mean, Azag's good as well. Greenskins have so many options. Alright, he's been coming in with a Lucky Banner, and the Great Un is here, as well as a Language of the Boys. We do as well have a Goblin Big Boss on a Wolf as well, coming with that sneaky stabbing. He's fast, he's mobile, he's good at poking people in the rear and dropping those debuffs. With a Giant River Troll Hag with a Spirit Leech, and once again coming with that really potent and deadly ability, Assault of Stone. It's always good to see these kind of little items used in battle that people don't know about. I love the Hammer of Crack Dzar, I think it's called, for the Rune Lord, is one of those items as well that I think people need to use more. We have Orc Arrow Boys in the backup line, coming from some Orc Daka. No Rusty Arrows though, interestingly enough, which you normally see with an Orc Daka line. We do have the 8 Picaloons, of course, being very powerful themselves, and a Savage Orc, Biggin, and Orc Boy mix in the front line, dotted all the way along. Looks like we have double Stone Trolls as well, and that's going to make up the build. Pretty solid stuff. Going to be a bit of a rush, and then you know, pinning the enemy troops and batter them down. This is a weird map that this was the wrong map, I think. I think I was thinking of Southern Chaos Waste. We may have two very hilly maps back to back, but oh well. Coming in for the forces here of Valkanos, we do have the Kepper Guard, as well as King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, so 2 Regiment around for a bit more tougher troops, and Tomb Guard as well, making up the front line, so pretty bad to the Bones front line. Skeleton Spearman, there we go, in the backup troops as well. We have some Ushopti, so going for a bit of a rush build himself, triple combat Ushopti. We have Setra on top of his mighty Kitty Cat, coming in with all his good buffs and nastinesses. We have a Necrotect as well, helping support. And then we have some Nekakaran Horsemen in the backup line, as well as some Carrions. So certainly going for an absolute rush build, trying to hammer the hammer back. This is going to be a fast, bloody, and furious affair. Those Horsemen certainly need to get active, though, and push round and shut down the Archer Corps, because that amount of Daka will add up over time. Good stuff. So looks like they are all ready. Who's your money on, lads? RTK is a clan. I believe it means Round Table Knights. Sorry for the plug, man. You got to plug yourself every now and again. But here we go. Shopti do push forward here. Tomb Guard, King Nikesh's Scorpion as well alongside them. The Carrion are flying overhead. They could be quite key as well to shutting down the Greenskin Corps. Prussian Prince loves to kind of do that like weird reposition at the start of a battle where he like moves along in a direction, but I suppose it does make sense. You know, he's trying to line up his army to meet this kind of army in the middle. And it looks like the Ushopti getting a little over eager there, pushing up above the hill to have a little sneaky peek to see what is coming for them before falling back behind their skeleton wall once more. Over on the side, we have the double Nekakaran Horsemen, can get some decent cycle charging in. Sedrock Biggins, though, will make them pay if they stand for too long. And we have an awkward standoff here now as both armies get into position. Looks like, for the most part, the Tomb Kings want to hammer home one flank, which would be a really good idea, and perhaps try to use the fact that this left-hand side won't be able to do too much. But Prussian Prince is moving his troops across and is acutely aware of this attempt. Arrow fire is coming on the Ushopti, which is a pretty good target, although it looks like maybe the Kepper Guard as well. And once again, Valkanos trying to push around to this right-hand side and do a bit of a flank overload where possible. It looks like the Greenskin's going to be repositioning. This will allow Valkanos the high ground, however. He's pushing very slightly down this hill. You know, ink every advantage you can get, sorry. As the Arrow Boys, once again, focus down, doing some little bits of damage, but the Tomb Guard are raising those shields quite high. Grom is darting along here, trying to inspire the lads, and do a little bit of an inspirational speech as he flees from the front line and the scary fighting that is soon to emerge. Now that the Tomb Kings are all kind of lined up, they are coming in for the kill. As you can see, the shops here eyeing up those greenskins and getting a lovely position as well. Nekakarian Horsemen pushing around this right-hand flank, going to be trying to loop up onto the Arab Boys where possible, but it looks like Savage Orc Biggins have been brought back for a bit of protection. And an early Spirit Leech has gone down on Cetra as well, and the Stone Trolls do push forward. Looks like they're going to be leading the charge here, as the Ushopti do get slapped in the face by that horrible bundle of stuff the Giant River Troll Hag does indeed have. Kepper Guard as well do take a little bit of a pound in there on the approach, and I can hear Wars are crying as Orc Boys and Savage Orc Biggins do push up the hill, diving in to the Kepper Guard, who will have a bit of a field day here. Looks like we are going to be getting a fat debuff of some description coming down by one of the foes. Looks like Incantation of Desecration. So it looks like that big old fat rock drop is going to come down on the King Nakesh's Scorpion Legion. Here it comes as a whirlpool of fire does unleash a load of rocks. That's pretty decent damage. At the same time, our Orc Boys were using to pin them in. The tactic, again, we've seen multiple times. King Nakaharian Horsemen there are going to be wrapping around trying to find a home, but it looks like a few resources have been spent protecting this back line. Stone Trolls are pushing in now, trying to swarm where possible. Once again, forming that death blob of Grom as well as Stone Trolls is really quite deadly and potent. Cetra is being forced back here despite Blessed Blade being popped on top of him, and that Dapper line is completely alive and healthy for now. As I say, actually, some Orc Arab boys have been shut down, but they love this. They love getting out their clubs and fighting some of these undead birds. And that's one of the useful things about Orc Arab boys. They're not terrible in combat. Not as good as the Savage Orc variety, but still doing a pretty good job. As you can see, we have a ton of kind of units out on this left-hand flank as well for the Tomb Kings, and this is something Prussian Prince seems to be very good at doing, making an enemy kind of commit a load of troops to one side and hammering down the other with his key units, such as the Stone Trolls and his characters. Looks like the war has been popped, but not before a few of the Greenskins have fled in terror. Some of them will be returned to the field, no doubt. And there was a restore on the Shopti to keep them fighting, but you don't want them in there against the Savage Orc Biggins. They will eventually drag them down. The Shopti here as well taking a bit of a breather. Cetra once again is coming in, and they've done decent damage to the Stone Trolls. He really needs to start killing models, as there's still plenty of regen health cap left on these guys. The Kepper Guard as well not having a good day up against Grom Paunch. Spirit Leech once again popped down on Cetra, and he's slowly just getting focused down here. Some of the Orc Arab boys are kind of in the midst of the enemy, as the Shopti do try to chase them down, but lovely crossfire coming in as well over on this flank. It looks like Greenskins did retreat, but are now slowly bringing their way back to the main fray. Savage Orc Biggins are slowly being dragged down here by a mixture of Tomb Guard and Shopti. At the same time, they've done a decent amount of damage back as well. Cetra has now flopped over to the Orc Arab boys, and it's going to be terrifying. He looks like he's given up on this right-hand side, which is probably the right thing to do. However, the Stone Trolls will be regenerating this entire time. You can see them kind of just sitting back and chilling in the distance, recovering that health. And it looks like balance power is favouring the Greenskins, but there's still plenty of time for a glorious comeback, as Cetra, up to only 20 kills, does now start to feast on some of the weaker units in the Greenskin roster and try to save this left-hand side. The 8-pick loons are alive and well, up to 85 kills, no doubt through a lot of their fanatic play. And Skeleton Spearmen slowly getting dragged down here and starting to crumble. And things are looking very, very bleak now for the forces of the undead. As Cetra gazes over the battlefield from the top of his kitty cat, he's going to charge into some Orc boys, certainly not going down without a fight. Clump in as many troops as he can, as his Shopti are going to now sandwich the Orc boys, as we do get the summon coming in behind, trying to break off this more squishy core of Greenskin forces and rallying some of his own men for the late game. Kepper Guard up to 45 kills, not too terrible, but are slowly being dragged down here by a mixture of Savage Orcs as well as all those nasty Trolls. Again, still 10 models on each, and you can see their health bar is ticking up nice and slowly. In the distance, looks like Nekaharian Horsemen are going to fish off the Orc Arab boys and beat those guys down. And Shopti as well doing a good job now, clearing up some of the lower tier troops. But I don't think there's too much left to do with the Trolls. Grom is consistently on the back of Cetra, slowed him down there with the Hag, and then popping They Need Stabbing, lowering his armour down to 65, which is a bit more respectable. And it looks like a Spirit Leech is coming as well, really going for that assassination attempt hard now. The Shopti do fling themselves in the way in a desperate attempt to save their Liege Lord, but looks like Valkanus is going to bow out there, and I think that was a GG. What's up, Dactor? How's it going, dude? Hope you're doing all good, man. You're spying out your opposition here, as a Prussian Prince does take a 2-0 lead here in this best-of-5 finals. As we've seen before, though, Valkanos does love a cheeky comeback. I'm sure he'll be all about it this time. GG. So up next, we do have Alpine Ridge, which should be just there. Alpine Ridge next. QQ. Let's update the scoreboard to reflect the true score here. Should be Prussian Prince and a Mighty 2. So best of 5. So he just needs to do one more win here to claim victory. Or can Valkanos fight back? I've got to be rooting for Valkanos a little bit here. I certainly want to see as many games as possible. It's the Sleeping Giant in Riverwood. What's this? Oh, you're finally awake. Orcs equal permaban. Yeah, orcs and pirates are the two you want to ban a lot of the time. They're very good. Kenwood Swamps of Terror. I actually like Alpine Ridge. I'm that one guy. I'm sorry, Legion. I've betrayed you. I've let down your trust. The maps after this will be Galbaraz and Oak and Hammer, though, if we do get to them, which are a bit more open maps. Raptor, I see you, being all sneaky. I think we need the Black Ark Landing. Maybe one day. We do tend to do it on King of the Hills, but not on this format. But I hope you're all good, man. I hope you've been enjoying the slaughter we've been seeing so far. It's been some pretty crazy stuff for sure. And hopefully we get a few more games as well dotted into the mix. We still are yet to see Prussian Prince's favourite Bretonia in this final, so they could be lurking around the corner. Say solution to buffing factions is just giving their DLC units 50% resistance to everything. We'll have to wait and see till the Wood Elves come out. I'm very, very excited. I'm assuming it's Wood Elves Skaven. We don't know fully. It could technically be, you know, well, anyone, but the other likely one could be Wood Elves Lizardmen, but I don't think that's likely to happen. Just any choke point map, any of them. What do we have here? Valkanos is going in greenskins, banning vampires, and Bretonia. What is a Prussian Prince going to do to counter? I'm going to devour so much food after this, guys. So much food. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be delicious. I've got a pizza waiting for me. I can practically smell it. For some reason, streaming always makes me so hungry. Once you get to like the 2-hour mark, your stomach just starts going, ooh, food. I guess it does take a lot of energy out of you, which is surprising, but I guess it's just talking consistently and trying to focus on everything. Wait to see which Prussian Prince does go. Who are you guys hoping for, by the way, in the DLC? I know we speculated a lot on what the Lords would be for Wood Elves, but who are you hoping is going to be the opponent? I think it's most likely Skaven, but if you could pick anyone yourself, you know, for complete free will, you could just choose a faction to get a DLC alongside the Wood Elves. What would it be? I'd be very interested to find out and know. Prussian Prince is going to be going the Mighty Forces Empire, perhaps. He's having a little look. Hasn't checked in just yet. Empire versus Greenskins could certainly be pretty fun. I think Knights of the Blazing Sun would be an absolute class choice here. Be good up against a ton of the enemy troops. And he is indeed going to be going Empire. Soren Spaghetti with Dowie. Surprise, surprise. The Dowie main himself. I think Dowie could do with a little bit of love. Bretonia. Bretonia and Wood Elves do kind of make sense. Obviously for the DLC it's going to be a Faction 2 force. And I think they've already said it's going to be a core one. Which means, I think... Oh god, my memory is horrific. But I think Dark Elves... It could be High Elves. How many? I can't remember how many DLCs everyone's had. Pretty much any Warhammer 1 Faction 2, yeah. Yeah, Dwarfs need some campaign revamp. They did a little bit back in the day. We need Thankful with a Dread Saurian mount, Malverde, but I don't think a Dread Saurian would take too kindly to that. I think they have promised Thankful, but not till Game 3. But, you know, that may have changed. High Elves and Wood Elves. With a name like Shadow of Nagarife, I assume you mean more Alphanar troops. Let me refresh your memory. Dowie 1. Is there anyone without a DLC? Oh, I mean, I suppose a lot of the DLCs, like Chaos. Chaos could do some love. For sure. Beastmen could do some love. Wood Elves definitely need it. I'm so happy they're getting the DLC treatment next. They are my second favourite faction as well, so, you know, that does play into it a little bit. But they're a little one-dimensional, unfortunately. Self-immolating peasants does sound like a good use of peasants in general. We reskinned for Grim. Yes, we need the Tillian crew in here, for sure. They need to be made a true faction. I'd love to see Kislev as well made whole. And their leader rides a polar bear, like, come on. How can you not want to see that? Warhammer 3 Athaloran. It's just the whole... There was a campaign based in Athaloran, wasn't there, actually? It's about a joke about that, but I think the Wood Elf DLC came with a campaign against Beastmen. Completely based there, so certainly you can do Athaloran Warhammer. Looks like Shadow of Nagarife definitely wants some new Elven DLC. Let me quickly grab my phone charger. Be right back. Oh, I have returned. Quack, quack. Quack to the quack, quack. Yeah, man, quack, damn the wait. It's so annoying. I can't wait. But I mean, it does, I suppose, push out the longevity of the game a little bit, which is still good. Like, people are still buying DLCs and stuff. The Chaos Dwarfs are going to be fun. Demons are going to be mental. Ogre Kingdoms, like, I'm going to go full Noblar build all the time. It's going to be super fun. Dogs of War would be great as well. Coming in, I agree, Shadow. I agree for sure. Looks like Prussian Prince is indeed ready. Just waiting on the mighty Valkanos, who is plotting and scheming his sneaky schemes in the shadows for now. Secretly playing for a all goblin build, but I do think it's slightly unlikely. Yeah, there's going to be so much DLC for Game 3. Don't worry about it. There is going to be a ton of DLC because there's so many like obscure factions they can expand and really have good fun with. Personally, I cannot wait for Hobgoblins. I think they've got to be made a faction. Hobgoblin Khan. They play like the Mongols. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Yeah, Warhammer's just so popular. I think these have been their most popular Total War games. There's, yeah, Kafai DLC. Oh, it's so good. Obviously, they CA also have to like dedicate some time and resources to you know, Free Kingdoms and Troy and stuff. I know they do it different teams, but it all still takes man hours and stuff, so that might slow them down. Hey guys, here we are, Prussian Prince trying to steal glory here in a quick 3-0 if possible. He will be meeting Dacta in the finals and 2 others, so we still have 2 qualifiers left. Is coming in with a ton of cheap and cheerful spearmen dotted all the way along. And they're just there to hold the line. Won't do too much damage, but the anti-large certainly does help. We have some swordsmen mixed in as well. Doesn't look like Sigma Sons. I'd like to see some Sigma Sons. They're always a common pick. Ah, there they are. Sigma Sons, Unbreakable Swordsman as well. We have a bit of a hero core once again, coming in with Volkmar the Grim, with all his lovely buffs and banishments and the like. We have a Bright Wizard, Burning Head and Fireball, and down on the low ground we have the mighty Gotrek, not bringing all his buffs unfortunately. It's coming in with Heroic Fortitude though, which is going to be healing up all these troops, which is always very, very useful, or all these characters I should say. We have Knights of the Blazing Sun darted in the back as well, 3 units to be exact. And the Knights of the Blazing Sun, perfect in this matchup. They run over pretty much all Greenskin Cav, do good damage to their infantry, and perfect up against those pesky trolls we so often see. Up on the high ground, we do see double Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, and we have a little bit of a kind of walk-in mobile box here, with Black Orcs mixed in with some Orc Boys dotted all the way along. We have some Savage Orcs in the centre pocket, as well as just 1 humble unit of Stone Trolls, not going for too many this time. We also have a Goblin Big Boss. Is he on foot? Look at him. Is he hiding literally in the butt of a troll? That is disgusting. Oh no, he's under the arm. That's fine. They're just buds. They're just buds. That's fine. And he's actually on a wolf there as well, making him a bit quicker. With a nice little cavalry crush, not even skirmish cavalry, just have Orc Boys dotted along the back line, and they can do some pretty decent damage. They got buffed not too long ago, just allow them to pack a little bit more of a punch. Up in the skies, we have one of my favourite greenskin lords, Azag the Slaughterer, coming in with a simple Spirit Leech spam, and Slaggers Slashers as well to buff all nearby troops, which is good to see. It looks like that's pretty much it for the build. Black Orcs are going to have to get busy and suddenly hack their way through. Looks like we had a couple of Outriders as well, which I did miss before the battle did begin. And they're going to be trying to trade shots with the Spider Rider Archers. Now, it's an interesting one. Gun Skirmish Cav versus Archer Cav. Archer Cav tends to come out on top, but if they just stand there and shoot each other, because of the arc of fire, Outriders tend to be more accurate because that bullet is going straight, whereas the Archers obviously flip up and over, which makes them easier to dodge. But overall, from my experience, Archers tend to come out on top a little bit more, I think. Looks like these lads just saying good luck, have fun, which is always good to see. Of course, they're clanmates, so I'm sure they're big fans of each other anyway. Looks like Outriders now going to be unleashing some shots into Azag, and any damage you can get on Greenskin Lords is good, apart from Grom. Of course, they can't regenerate or heal anyway, so it all does add up over time. Looks like Outriders decide to fall back, so the rest of the force is forced to move forward here, trying to take into the open field a little bit more. And it's a tactic we've seen Prussian do quite a lot. He likes to choose his layout as much as possible and choose the ground he fights on. Doesn't want to take to the high ground, and if he can out-skirmish his opponent, he certainly doesn't need to. Forest Goblin and Spider Rider Archers are going to be falling back as well as the rest of the force does get up into position. Azag are going to be lurking behind the hill, and of course at this point the Empire have no clue that there is a load of Orc boys back here either, which could be pivotal as well if they can jump and ambush some units, because obviously you can't see over the front. So taking the initiative for the Greenskins is going to give them a good battlefield awareness. Outriders now unleashing shots into Black Orcs, a very good target indeed. They may have 110 armor, but the armor piercing is certainly going to add up and help kill them down. Fireball is duped here, it would seem, unless it was going after Signkels. No, Fireball was indeed well duped there by Azag the Slaughterer as he bobbed and weaved on his mighty Wyvern. Outriders can continue to fall back here. They did do some pretty decent damage to the Black Orcs, however, only killing one model, but it's all about that HP damage. The Orc boys getting ready to charge into the Spearmen, but they're going to be pulled back as the Knights sally forth and start to hammer home on this front line. Glorious stuff to see. Knights of the Blazing Sun ramrodding these Orc boys, doing massive damage. There's unfortunately not going to be too much kind of follow-up, as the Orc boys are kind of waiting in the wings a little bit further behind, and Black Orcs now taking pretty big damage from those Outriders. So a good start by the Empire, but now the battle line is underway. Greenskins can really get into what they're good for, and that's hacking at the limbs off every single living manling that they can indeed find. Azag probably going to want to start dropping the Spirit Leeches on the Knights of the Blazing Sun, or perhaps go for an assassination on the Bright Wizard. It looks like that's just what he's doing. A Spirit Leech does come down, trying to neuter the effectiveness of the magic here. Volkmar the Grim is looking particularly grim, but quite happy at the same time, cleaving apart Stone Trolls. He does do that magic damage, but the fire damage as well helping out. And Knights of the Blazing Sun coming in and driving back those Stone Trolls. A big Bullet Head came down, roasting quite a few of the Greenskin forces there. They do manage to get off the little twirly whirlies, aka the Fanatics, doing some pretty big damage across the Knights of the Blazing Sun, as well as some swordsmen there. So good play from those little gobbos, although it looks like a lot of the Greenskin forces are starting to break. Black Orcs cleaving through Spearmen quite effectively, are going to get hit by a fat banishment brought down into the realm of existence by Volkmar and his belief in Sigma. Orc boys, despite trying to go toe-to-toe with Knights of the Blazing Sun, certainly need support, and it looks like they do have it in the form of Black Orcs here. The Outriders have managed to peel back and do some pretty decent damage, consistently doing good work on them. Looks like Gotrek has popped Foe Seeker, and is going to be trying to hunt down Azag the Slaughterer, who went for that assassination attempt rather successfully on the Bright Wizard. Also coming in there, they Spirit Leech, but being completely surrounded by the Knights of the Blazing Sun, Azag got absolutely slaughtered there, and Gotrek didn't even really need to get involved, which is probably much to his upset. Wanting to duel such a mighty combatant is going to have to unfortunately just waddle around the centre pocket, and yeah, Azag's probably not going to get enough distance, and with that gone, the Greenskin leadership going, I see this going very badly for the Greenskins. Volkmar is still at pretty much full health, can easily out-duel a Goblin Big Boss, and then just tear out their enemy and drag them down with his awesome moustache skills backing him up. Knights of the Blazing Sun are being used to counter Orc Boar Boys here. Looks like Outriders as well, trying to focus down that last unit, which is desperately trying to save Azag. And it looks like, unfortunately, they've charged into like a few units of the Knights of the Blazing Sun rather than the main core. And yeah, with Azag going like this, down to 126 health, he's pretty much done for. And I think it's going to be a tough to come back for from the Greenskins' point of view. But still some Orc boys are fighting strong here, going up against the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Black Orcs as well, still getting their axes wet and dripping with Empire blood, despite the fact they've been shot up quite heavily as well. Goblin Big Boss tried to pick a fight with Gotrek, and Gotrek's like, just shrugs him off, and allows Volkmar to come in and terrify him away. And that is going to be a victory for the mighty Prussian Prince. coming in and doing a pretty dominant display there, getting the 3-0 over his clanmate Valkanos, who had a fantastic tournament all round and a really good showing as well in the semi-finals. 2 true champs for sure, and giving us some fantastic games. In particular, my favourite, that first one, Lizardmen Norscan Showdown, was some awesome stuff, but GG. Great games all round. And special congrats to Prussian. You have booked a slot in the grand finals. So Prussian Prince books the second slot of the season alongside the mighty and fearsome Dactor. So I hope Dactor was watching. He can snipe out and scope out his opposition here. And that finals will be still a couple of weeks away. We do have 2 more qualifiers yet. One will probably, hopefully, be next week. It does depend a little bit on how I'm feeling at the time, although we may be able to do next weekend, because I think I have it off work. And then another week one, perhaps. Who knows? I'll decide amongst myself at a later date. But there will still be 2 attempts to enter, so feel free to join the Discord to keep an eye out for that. There's a link down below. And a massive shout out to you guys as well today for tuning in and supporting. This is the biggest live stream we've ever had, rocking over 100 viewers at one point, which is crazy stuff. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to stick around and see more Total War action, feel free to subscribe, feel free to thumbs up, feel free to say hi, quack, and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. So what I learned today is the way to beat Prussian Prince is to not lose a game to him. See, this is the kind of stuff you need to learn, Dactor, and you're on point here. So I'm going to chill out just for like a couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask them, as now is the time. And then I'm going to go off and eat my body weight in pizza, basically. Yeah, unlucky Valkanos. He did a really good, honestly played really well as well throughout the tournament. The 3-0 was a bit harsh, I think, all round. Good stream. Thank you, Geese. Thank you for tuning in, man. As always, a true supporter. Hopefully we'll get to see your Beastmen in action soon on the channel as well. We need some DBD members here representing in the finals. And Prussian Prince in chat there as well, so feel free to ask him any questions. When is the ITO and DBD having a clan war? We're always having a clan war, Malverde. It's always a clan war. Never ending. Looks like we don't have any questions, so until next time, guys, peace, and stay awesome. And yeah, bye-bye. Quack, quack.